Welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where you ask me your burning questions of the day and I search for the answers. Like, why do spiders have 8 legs instead of 7? How do airplanes stay in the air? Where does that one missing sock go from the dryer? Sorry, there's some things I can't even figure out. Ugh. If it's anything like this one though, it didn't get lost in the washing machine. To start off, I have a question from Lucas.
My friend said white is made up of all the colors. So is snow really white?
The short answer is not if a dog pees on it. But seriously, I'm gonna uncover all sorts of cool things about color. Think of me as a detective, your own private eye. And by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question. Is snow really white? Let's find out. Let's begin our investigation with another question. This one's from Kayla.
How many colors are there?
How many colors are there? Let's see, there's red, blue, green, purple, yellow, indigo, maroon, fuchsia, turquoise, blue, white, brown, black. Where does it all end? Yay! You're gonna make my head explode! To answer your question, Kayla, please welcome my special guest from the world of physics, Mark Nentel.
Hey, Harrison.
Hey.
You look brilliant today.
So, how many colors are there?
Well, there are an infinity of colors, but before we even ask that, we have to understand what a color is.
Cool. So how about I roll this video you brought?
So, Harrison, the sunlight has all the colors that we can see, but we don't see them as colors. We see them as white light. We only see them as colors when they bounce off of something and come into our eyes.
Oh.
So, a red apple is red because the white light of the sun hits it and it absorbs all the colors except the red. The red bounces out and then you see it.
So, are there floating apples like this in real life?
Not quite.
I knew that.
And the human eye can see up to 1 million colors. And you can see, you go to your paint shop and get all these color swatches of all types of colors. It goes from the blue to the yellow, orange, all the way to the violet.
So, are 1 million colors all the colors in the universe?
No, we can't see all the colors. Our eyes just sees the visible colors, those in the white light. Now, the cool thing, though, is that some animals can see different colors than we do. Like for insects, for example, part of what they can see is in the ultraviolet. If I take this little plant, right? It's a nice little plant, and remember these lights? Brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Very
if
nice
I
and bright.
actually shine those lights onto one of these flowers, and then if you look really carefully, you can see that they are fluorescing. That is, that the colors you see on the plant there is a different color. You see how
Yeah,
this-
now it's almost white.
Well, yeah, and the middle part where all the pollen is kind of highlighted by this new color.
Yeah.
Well, the insects see this, and to them it's like a beacon calling them to the middle of the plant so they can go and actually take the pollen.
Come to me, you want me.
Exactly. So for the insect, this is kind of like a landing pad at the airport.
I guess we'd call it a bee port or a bumble pad.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mark, for being on my show.
My pleasure, Harrison.
So, Kayla, there are millions of colors, and we can't even see them all. Unless I could make myself into a human insect.
Wow, look at these beautiful colors. Whoa, gotta go. Bye for now.
At least one of my viewers isn't surprised to find out we can see 1 million different colors. Kenny just wonders about giving them all names.
If I can mix up a bunch of colors to make some random color, why does it have to be called brownish? Why can't it be called morge or mush or something?
I checked the answer, there's all types of weird names. I checked the answer, there's all types of weird names for all the different shades of colors, including the brownish ones. Like bowl, a tree bark color, vista, a type of brown. Bowl, a tree bark color, vista, a type of brown. Bowl, a tree bark color, vista, a type of brown. Bowl, a tree bark color, vista, a type of brown. Salsa, star, steak, amarillo, abstracta. Huh? Rufus, myrtle, small, wenge, drab, sinopia.
Olive. Here's another color question. This one's from Charlotte.
How does blue and yellow make green?
Well, I checked, and it's because blue already has the color green in it. So I made this cool animation to show you how it works. That's Big, the blue pig. He's full of pig. Meant. Now I'll zoom away into Big. See, there's green in his blue. When you mix yellow into blue, the yellow blocks the part that reflects the blue light, so that you can only see the green light reflected. Charlotte, your question gives me an idea for... My Great Challenge! Today, my Great Challenge is about making colors using other colors. And playing today are Leela and Mika. Okay, contestants, are you ready to change colors?
Yes!
Awesome. Well, these little guys are known as Puron's tree frog. They blend in with their environment so that they don't get eaten by predators. So you have to find a way to paint your frogs green. But look at that. You have no color green with your paints. So you have to mix your colors together to try to find a green shade for your frog. The one who creates a shade of green that makes their frog blend in the most with the leaves will win the challenge. Are you ready?
Yes!
Okay, go! Looks like Leela's way ahead of Mika painting her frog blue, which is a bit strange. You guys know you're trying to get your frogs to be green, right?
Yes.
Leela's done with her blue and now she's using yellow. She already has the color green going. Mika's speeding up, catching up to Leela. Who will finish first? Mika's adding some red spots on her frog. And she's going to place it down. And Leela's also going. Before we announce the winner, I want to know what you guys think who the winner is.
I think I'm the winner because when I put the red spots on mine, and it makes it look exactly like the plant. And second of all, since Leela's has no red, it stands out from the rest.
Why do you think you're gonna win?
Because Mika's frog is darker than mine, and the leaves are a little light, so I think I'm gonna win.
To get a true sense of how well these frogs are camouflaged, I'll have to stand way back here to see which frog is harder to see. This one is Mika's frog, and this one is Leela's. Both frogs seem to blend in really well. So I'm gonna announce this one as a tie. Congratulations. Lots of animals use color to camouflage themselves and to communicate. Here's Camelio. He's a chameleon. And we also have his handler here, Lil Ray.
Hey, how's it going, Harrison?
And we also have our challengers here. I believe they have some questions.
Will he change color?
Well, a lot of people believe that chameleons change color for camouflage, which isn't actually true. Their primary reason for changing color is a form of communication. Chameleons, like Camelio, don't have external ear openings, so chameleons are deaf, they can't hear the way we can, and they use their color to communicate with other chameleons.
When will the chameleon change colors?
Well, they change color depending on, their mood and if they see another chameleon. In this case, Camelio changes if he sees a male chameleon to let him know, hey, I'm another male and I don't want you to be over here. So that male sees him, recognizes those colors as him being aggressive. Or if he sees a female and he gets excited, he has a different set of colors that he changes to let the female know that he's excited. And if she likes him, she changes certain colors to let him know that she thinks he's kind of cute too.
Cool.
If we put a mirror in front of him, do you think he'll change color because he thinks it's another male?
This is actually a good suggestion. If we actually have a mirror here.
One mirror coming right up. Camelio, look over here.
I don't think he sees
Oh.
it.
He sees it now. So Harrison, what we're seeing right now is he's getting a little bit nervous right now. If we all stay really still. And he's trying to make himself look bigger right now, and he's definitely changing his shade a little bit.
Okay.
So he hasn't completely bought into there being another chameleon here, but you can see that his colors are getting a little bit more distinct, and this is happening from him increasing his blood flow to certain areas.
Yeah, you got some
of the
brown
skin.
and white there.
Exactly.
Like along the dark green spots. Awesome. I also have these other cool video clips of animals that change color.
So the Arctic fox and the Arctic hares change color seasonally, white to blend in with the snow and earth tones for the summertime. The hare is doing it for self-defense, so animals can't see him and can't find him and catch him. And the fox is doing it as a predator who's hiding to try to make himself blend in with the environment so things he's trying to eat can't see him. And then there's animals like octopus that can change color instantaneously to blend in as a form of camouflage. And most people don't realize that octopus, some species don't just change color, but they can change the texture of their skin to blend in the things they're sitting on.
That's pretty tricky.
Very cool.
Thanks, Lil Ray, for being on the show and helping us find stuff out.
Hey, you're very welcome. And did you know that jellyfish change color? So maybe we should end with a jellyfish.
Yeah.
I heard of something called color blindness. What does it mean?
Uh-oh. Do try this at home. To answer your question, Ben, I found this really cool experiment that you can do with me right now. It's a test that eye doctors use. It will help you find out if you might be colorblind. Look deep into the television. You're getting sleepy. Very sleepy. Oh, right. That's another episode. Anyway, look into the television and tell me what you see.
Keep looking. Do you see a number? What number do you see? Did you see a 6? Let's try a different test.
Now what do you see? Take a good look.
If you saw the number 2 that time and the number 6 in the previous test, then you are not colorblind. If you were colorblind, your test would look something like this. If you didn't see the 2 or the 6, don't worry. It's very common, especially if you're a boy. Almost 1 boy out of 12 is a little bit colorblind. And it actually may have given our ancestors an advantage when they were hunting.
That's because if you are colorblind, you may be able to spot movement better than people who can see color. Now here's a question from Michelle.
Do some colors attract the eye more than others?
To find out the answer to your question, I'm here at a search and rescue base. Hi there, I'm Harrison.
Hey, how you doing, Harrison?
Good.
My name is Master Turnus. I'm a 442 Rescue SARTech.
Okay, so what is a SARTech?
Search and rescue technician. We have 30 of them here on the West Coast, and what we do is rescue people. Come on in, Harrison.
This is the room where they pack their parachutes. Master Corporal Turnus told me that their uniforms and equipment are orange and yellow because those colors attract the eye more than others. And to prove it, he set up this cool experiment. I'm about to go for a ride in a real search and rescue helicopter.
Okay, let's go find stuff out about colors.
CG's good, controls are good, on the roll.
Yeehaw!
Okay, so we are at one of the SARTech seats right now. If you can see, these windows are bubble windows. What you're going to do is put your head right out, look out, you're going to scan the horizon. Okay, today we're going to be looking down 2 different valleys. We got one valley that has a green camp set up and the other valley that has orange camp set up. A lot of the orange that we're using down there are basic SARTech orange. It's kind of fluorescent, and it should be a lot easier for you to find that one.
This is going to be tricky.
Okay, the area's hot. Okay, so this valley, the camp down here, is going to have a lot of orange, SARTech orange. The tent's going to be a brighter color. Keep looking ahead, keep your scan up.
Oh, I see the orange tent. It's way over there. It's easy.
Good job.
That's more than half a mile away from the camp.
Hey, you found that SAR camp quite easy. Now let's turn around, go down the other valley, and find the other camp.
Now I'm trying to find a campsite with a dark-colored tent.
Okay, so we know the forest is really thick. We got to get lower. We're looking for this person that might be under some of these trees here. Harrison, any sign down there yet?
I haven't seen anything yet. Wow, that orange one was way easier to find than this one.
Which is no surprise given the colors. So what we're going to do is do another fly towards the camp.
We flew right over the campsite, but I totally missed the tent, which was right there. So this time, the people on the ground are going to use brightly colored smoke to attract our eyes.
I see him right down there. I see a flare or something. Some orange smoke.
There you go, good proud SARTech color.
The green tent isn't hard to see only because it's a similar color to the forest. I checked, and I found out that when it gets dark, it's easier for us to see yellow and orange than most other colors.
The green tent I wouldn't have seen at all without like the smoke or stuff.
Don't buy a green tent.
So thanks so much for showing me how to search for someone when you're in a search and rescue plane.
No problem. It's great having you on board our aircraft. Hopefully we'll never have to look for you.
Yeah. People didn't always know so much about color.
The Flat Earth Corner!
Do some colors attract the eye more than others? I'm not sure what you mean. If I want to see the color of these flowers, I just do it by shooting rays out of my eye. The ancient Greeks made amazing discoveries, like that the Earth was round, but as smart as they were, they still made mistakes. They would have never understood the explanation that some colors are easier to notice than other colors. They believed that the human eye detected color by sending out rays. Cool. Cheesy, but cool. Now we know that we detect color by light entering our eyes, not sending out light. Here's another color question from Antonio.
Would the world be different if it were all different colors?
For your answer, Antonio, I'm going outside to get some...
Street smarts!
Here I am at Forest Hill Senior Elementary, and we're gonna do an experiment on color. Between you and me, it's kinda gross. Who wants some blue scrambled eggs? Does anyone wanna try some?
Okay.
Now, do you guys want some of these? Black potatoes. Okay, dig in.
They're fine, they're like normal potatoes. I'm sticking to the eggs out like future food.
So what did you think when you saw the eggs and the potatoes?
I thought they were disgusting.
And what did they taste like though?
They taste actually really good.
And what did you think when you saw the potatoes and the eggs?
They look disturbing.
And then when you tasted them?
They're better than my grandma's potatoes. I didn't really like the scrambled eggs, but I really liked the mashed potatoes.
Were you scared to try them?
At first.
When they saw them, these kids weren't very interested in my blue eggs or my black mashed potatoes, right?
I checked, and scientists say that we've evolved to dislike food that is abnormally colored, like those blue eggs and black potatoes. That's because those colors often tell us there's something wrong with the food, like this rotten potato, moldy bread, and poisonous berries, which can all make us sick.
So there you have it, Antonio. I'd say the world would be different if things were all different colors. Like, if poisonous foods were attractive, I'd probably accidentally eat them. And if scrambled eggs were blue, chickens would be out of business. Looks good. Hey, it's an orange, and it's orange. No way, what are the odds? Anyway, here's a question from Zoe about a bunch of colors. Hey, it's orange.
How are rainbows formed?
Okay, Zoe, I checked, and a man on the tallest mountain of the world uses a crystal to make rainbows. Okay, but the part about the crystal is true. A rainbow works like this prism.
Remember that floating apple? It shows that sunlight is made up of beams of light that look colorless to us when they're traveling together. But when the light shines on something, the color we see depends on which waves of light get reflected back at us. When light strikes water droplets, which are in the sky after a rain shower, the light changes direction and speed. That scatters the beams, so we can see the different colors in the light.
This prism also causes the light beams to shift direction and make a ton of beautiful colors. Now let's take a question from Indy.
Is there really a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
Indy, if there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I'd be driving around in one of these.
Whoopee!
Unfortunately, it's just a fairy tale.
There is no end to a rainbow. It's just the water droplets that are farthest from you.
So if you try to walk to the end of a rainbow, it'll either disappear or it'll get farther away. Now, there might not be a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but there is an answer to
Lucas's question at the end of my show.
My friend said white is made up of all the colors. So is snow really white?
Here comes your big answer. Is snow really white? I checked, and the answer is yes and no. Like everything else in the world, snow doesn't have any color at all, not until light shines on it.
We see this apple as red because it absorbs all the colors present in the light, except one. The red wavelength bounces off the apple and into our eyes. Snow doesn't absorb any of the colors, and when all the colors in the light bounce off the snow, our eyes see them as white. So your friend is right, Lucas. All the colors are present in white.
On top of that, snow sure is festive. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where you send in your questions and I find out the answers. I hope I'm not scaring you right now. I'm doing this because of a question I got from Austin.
Why do spiders have 8 eyes?
Yeah, why do they? I know spiders have 8 legs, but 8 eyes? That's crazy! Well, Austin, I don't know why spiders have 8 eyes, but by the end of the show, I'll find out the answer, because I'm focusing on one of our most important senses, sight. Now here's a question from Sophia.
How do we see with our eyeballs?
Well, Sophia, I made this music video to answer your question. Check it out.
Eyeballs. We see with them light comes through our pupil and the lens to the retina, where rods and cones send signals to our brain, not our nose. But the image comes in upside down, so our clever brain turns it around. Then the down is up and the up is down, and it all makes sense again. Eyeballs. 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 Eyeballs.
Ow. Wow, glad I don't have to wear spider eyes every day. Anyway, here's a question from Serena.
Why do cats' eyes glow in the dark?
Well, Serena, I checked, and remember that retina I sang about? It's this layer at the back of the eyeball that senses light. Cats have an extra layer behind the retina. It captures more light. That's why cats can see well in the dark. That extra layer is like a mirror, so it reflects the light that comes into the cat's eyes. And it's why their eyes seem to glow in the dark. Meow. But the cat's eyes aren't glowing. They're just reflecting the light back out again.
Why can't we see infrared?
Well, Anthony, I checked, and it's amazing, but we can't see some kinds of light. The sun makes light in what are called waves. Just like waves in water, they can be different distances apart. They call all these light waves a spectrum. Our eyes can only see the light waves in the middle of the spectrum. It's what we call visible light. But there are waves of light we can't see, like ultraviolet and infrared. But birds and insects can see ultraviolet, and some snakes can detect infrared. And lucky for them, they can sense not just the infrared light made by the sun, but also the infrared light animals give off. Mmm, tasty! The snakes don't see that light through their eyes. They have sensors lower down that detect the infrared of the animals they hunt. Now here's a question from Dante.
How can hammerhead sharks see with eyes like that?
Yeah, imagine if you had eyes way out on the side of your head like that. I can see you. And you too. It looks like a hammerhead shark's eyes point to the side. But I found out that their eyes are tilted slightly forward, so they can see depth just like we can. And with their eyes way out on the side like that, they can not only see out to the front and sides, they can see behind themselves too. I'm glad they can't walk on land. Humans have excellent vision, but we're not perfect. We can get tricked by something called an optical illusion, and that's today's... Uh-oh, do try this at home. She knows all about eyes, and I think we're in for a fun surprise. Please welcome Dr. Kathy Mullen.
Hi, Harrison. I've got something really fun to show you.
I'm being hypnotized! Stop it! Wow, it really looks like it's spinning, but it's just a normal piece of paper, right?
Yeah, the image on the piece of paper isn't moving at all.
But why does it look like it's moving then if it's actually not?
Well, this pattern's forming an image on the back of your eye, rather like in a camera. And then as you move your eyes over the page, that image on the back of your eye is moving all around. And your brain is fooled into thinking that the pattern's moving.
Cool. What's next?
Now, which of these two lines do you think is the longest?
The longer one. The longer one is the top one, I'm gonna say.
Well, I think most people would agree with you, but that's not actually correct.
What about this one then? What?
No, that one isn't longer either. In fact, both of these lines are exactly the same length.
What? 37. And 37?
Yeah, your eye isn't telling the truth.
They're the same.
They're the same length.
But how?
And what's happening here is that these two end pieces that are fanning out like this, they're stretching the line and making your brain think it's longer than it is. But with this bottom line, the opposite is happening. The little pieces pointing inwards are fooling your brain into thinking it's shorter.
That's crazy.
But there's lots of other illusions like this one. So which of these three blocks do you think is the tallest?
The tallest one is the one at the back.
But actually, they're all exactly the same size.
They're all exactly the same?
They are.
13, 13. They're all 13 centimeters.
Yep, this is an illusion of perspective. So it's rather like a tall building. We know when we look at a tall building that it's very, very big, but when we're a long way away from it, it might seem quite small.
Let's check it out in the real world. So we have these three identical rectangular blocks here, and if we set them up, the one closest will look the biggest and the one furthest will look the smallest, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But in our illusion, our brain thinks that the block at the right is bigger than the others because the perspective lines trick us into believing that it's further away. But take away that perspective lines, and the three blocks look the same size. It's only a drawing. It's not like in the real world. So I guess seeing isn't always believing.
Well, not exactly.
Thanks for being on my show.
You're welcome.
Street Smarts.
Dr. Mullen showed me some illusions, and I'm gonna test one out on some kids today with my assistant, Evan, here.
To me, it looks like number 8 doing circles.
It looks like an endless tornado, and I feel like I'm gonna fall in it. It looks like a giant eye. It's really big, but scary.
It just looks like the circles never stop, and they look like at the end it changes colors.
Some illusions involve not seeing things that actually are there, as I'm about to show you in... My Great Challenge! Today, my great challengers are Michael, Nicholas, and Alexia. So today, my great challenge is all about optical illusions, things that aren't always what they seem at a first glance. So today, I'm focusing on the illusion of camouflage. This moth is camouflaged. It blends in with its background, so it's hard to see, just like this scorpion fish. So here are the rules. There are 60 jelly beans hidden throughout the attic, and you'll have 2 minutes to try to find as many as possible. Sound good?
Yeah.
So we have Team Hawk, Team Lion, and Team Wolf. One of the jelly beans is right in front of them. Okay, so you have 2 minutes, starting now. Go. Ow! Hawk gets it. Wolf uses her predator eyes to spot her first jelly bean. And another quick one. Lion and Hawk go for the computer desk. I hid 8 jelly beans there, including one in a candy jar. That one will be hard to spot. How many can they find? 1. And only 2 for Lion. Oh, Hawk finds the one in the candy jar. Lion makes a move for the experiment table. I've got 11 tricky ones hidden there. How many can he find? 1, 2. Oh, he's walking away, going toward the pink napkins. Misses it. He walks by the yellow one too. There's 5 jelly beans in the small area near the aquarium. Hawk finds one of them. I also matched the colors of my jelly beans to the toys at the back of the attic. Missed the one on the gorilla. Hawk joins Wolf upstairs to see if she's missed any. Bingo! 30 seconds. They've been searching for 1.5 minutes, but there's still a lot of jelly beans left. Looks like Lion saw something. Or maybe not. My masterpiece, the granola special, still hasn't been found. But Wolf is getting dangerously close. Will she find it? No, it's just too good. 10 seconds. Time for a last-ditch effort. Okay, time's up. Let's see how you guys did. 7, 8, 9 jelly beans for Team Wolf. Let's see how Team Lion did. 3, 4, 5 jelly beans. So Team Wolf is beating Team Lion right now.
Aww.
And let's see how Team Hawk did. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It looks like Team Hawk's our winner. Yes! Awesome, congratulations. So you guys found about 30 jelly beans, which means there are still 30 more hiding in this attic.
What?
In order to fool the eye, all good camouflage relies on matches in color, texture, and even shape. That's the key to the survival of a lot of species in nature. The animals that want to eat them can't see them. Well, all of you guys get to keep the jelly beans that you found, but I wouldn't eat them because I painted some of them, and also Squeakers, my guinea pig, was running around here, so I don't know if the brown ones are actually jelly beans.
Ew.
Yeah. Well, thanks for playing my great challenge, guys.
And why do people wear glasses?
Maybe it's a fashion statement. Actually, it helps them refocus the light. It's pretty cool how it works. Check out this cartoon I made. If you have perfect vision, your eye looks like this. If you are nearsighted, this happens. Because of the way your eye is shaped, you can see things that are close to you just fine. But something that is far away gets focused here in front of the retina instead of on the retina. If you're farsighted, you can see things that are far away. But because of the way your eye is shaped, things that are close to you get focused behind the retina, so it looks fuzzy. Glasses refocus the light to be in the right place, not behind or in front of your retina.
Why do people go blind?
To find out, I came to Calgary to visit with Tate Hoyam. Hi, welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me on your show.
So, to answer Devin's question, what causes blindness?
Well, it can be by an accident. You can be born with it, you can get a disease that causes it, or your eyes can just wear out over time.
Tate is 12 and lost most of his vision to a disease when he was just a baby. But that doesn't stop him from doing a lot of cool things, like playing this weird instrument called a hydraulophone. That's awesome. When someone's blind, do they see anything at all?
It depends. Some people are completely blind and can't see anything at all. But some people can see shapes and shadows. Some people can see a bit. Anything.
Tate asked me if I wanted to see what he sees.
Can I show you some?
Sure.
Okay.
Tate, where are you?
I'm here. Close your eyes.
Close my eyes, why?
Because I'm gonna put goggles on you. It makes it seem like you have less vision.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there. Here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh. It was weird with the goggles. I could still see a bit, but even walking around was difficult.
But I can teach you how to use a cane.
Oh, okay.
So the 2 things you need to remember is don't lift it up in the air and hit people.
Right.
Use the hand that you are most comfortable with,
Right.
left or right.
So my right hand.
And then make sure your hand is in the middle, like near your stomach. And then when you're walking, you just have to go like that as you're walking.
Just left and right?
Yep. And you have to do it like opposite to what foot. So right, left, like that.
Right.
And then if you hit something, you would stop.
Okay. Tate can go anywhere he wants with his cane. Which way did you go? Tate? I'm not quite there yet. Tate? So how can blind people manage to do the same things that sighted people do?
Well, even if you're completely blind, you can still read. It's called Braille. Why don't I show you some?
Sure. How does Braille work?
It's made up of dots, normally on a piece of paper. But people can actually tell what it says by putting their fingers on it. How about I show you how to make the letter F?
Sure.
So if you put one there, and one there, that's F.
Okay, yeah.
You got it, yeah.
And then you can feel the bumps.
Yeah, and they're a little bit smaller on a piece of paper, but they're still there.
Right. What does it say on this piece of paper?
How about you find out? There's a kind of a cheating thing here.
Okay.
You can look at it.
Okay. Let's see here. We got an F. An I. What's this? Oh, that's an N. You're probably a lot faster than this, aren't you?
Yeah. Here, how about I try?
Okay, yeah.
And I'll read it with my fingers, too.
Okay, go for it.
Finding stuff out with Harrison and special guest Tate.
Nice.
Yeah. Why don't we go play some road hockey?
Sure.
Well, Harrison, since we can't see very well, a lot of times me and other people who are visually impaired like to use these, a ball or a puck with a bell or bells inside it.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah! Where did it go?
Yeah!
Of course, it's not exactly a fair game.
Yes!
Kate is so used to not having sight that he can sense where things are.
Yeah!
But I sure can't.
And again. And again. Ah! Yes!
Okay, before you get too far ahead of me in points, I want to thank you for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you've heard the expression, seeing is believing, but can hearing be seeing?
Is it true some people see colors when they hear music?
Seeing colors when you hear music? I think my parents see red when I play my drums too late at night. Just kidding, but I checked Erica, and it's actually true. There really are people who say that they see colors when they hear music. That made me think, if you take all the colors in the universe and multiply it by all the sounds in the universe, that could be like a bazillion combinations. Guitar times yellow equals orange times cello. Head getting warm if there's 8 notes in an octave times a million colors. Multiplied by a rim shot. Flats and sharps and banjos and harps. Brain sending signals at light speed. You're gonna make my head explode. People who can see color when they hear sounds have what's called synesthesia. Scientists still aren't sure why it happens. But they think that for people who see color when they hear music, there might be some overlap in their brains in the parts that normally separate hearing from seeing. Now here's a question from Jessica.
Why don't worms have eyes?
She knows about bugs, the hows and whys, and the reason that worms don't have eyes. Please welcome Julie Hamill.
Hey, Iverson. I have a surprise for you.
Gee, for me? Ugh. What about these worms? How do they see if they don't have any eyes?
Well, here you go. You can look at it. Well, actually, they have light-sensitive cells, which help them detect light.
But there's no lights underground for them.
Yeah, but when they're going out, it's big danger for them.
Julie tells me that the light-detecting cells tell the earthworm when it's leaving the safe, dark underground for the dangerous light above-ground world. So are there any other animals that don't have eyes?
Well, actually, there's cavefish, which live really, really deep underwater where it's all dark. So they don't need eyes. They have sensitive cells which detect pressure and also movement around them. And there's also bats. They have eyes, but they use echolocation.
Right, echolocation. That helps them when it's pitch dark. Notice that echolocation has the word echo in it. Bats make really high-pitched sounds, but we can't hear them. Like all sounds, they travel through the air as waves. When the waves hit an object, they bounce off that object. A bat listens carefully to the echoes. That's echolocation. And I see you've brought some spiders with you, and those all have 8 eyes, right?
Not exactly. I have a couple of species here. Would you like to see the tarantula?
Okay. Like most spiders, the tarantula has 8 eyes. But others have 6, 4, and even 2 eyes. There are even spiders with no eyes at all. But at this moment, all I can think about are the 8 eyes crawling on Julie's arms. So can it see me right now with all those eyes?
Yeah, they can see quite a lot. Because of the eyes, they can see all around them. But he sees as a shadow.
Right, so they don't see color, it's all black and white?
It's all black and white, and it's all fuzzy.
That's kind of weird then. They have all those eyes, but they can't see as well as us.
No, but they can see more around.
Right.
If I do this, they'll see me.
Weird. Well, thanks for being on my show and for not putting the spider on me.
Maybe next time we'll try and take it.
We'll see. All this spidery talk brings me back to the question that started this web of exploration.
Why do spiders have 8 eyes?
Well, Austin, the big answer is the better to see you with. If you had 8 eyes and 8 arms, imagine the wild drum solo you could play. Or maybe not. I found out from Julie that spiders don't actually see as well as we do, but having all those extra eyes lets them see in many different directions at once. It also lets them see the things they want to eat and avoid the things that want to eat them. That's my show for this week. Thanks for watching. I wish you could smell these because they inspired this beautiful show.
How do flowers poop?
Well, Jacob, I never really thought of that. Now that you're asking, I think I'm gonna stop sniffing those flowers until I find out the answer. Well, I don't know how flowers poop, or even if they do, but thanks for giving me an excuse to do a show on, well, you know.
Why is bird poop white?
Here's the first thing I noticed about those bird droppings. I noticed that these bird droppings are very runny compared to regular human, well, you know. You won't believe what I just found out. Birds poo and pee at the same time. The white part is the pee, and the little black parts you see in it are the poop. So, if you get splatted on by a bird, remember, the bird isn't just pooping on you, it's peeing on you too. Now here's a question from Sophia.
What animal does the biggest poop?
I checked, and there are some champion poopers out there. This is a moose-sized poop. And this is a hippo-sized poop. But it doesn't come out neat like this. It goes all over the place like it was shot out of a cannon. And there's an animal that makes even bigger poop than the hippo, the blue whale. And I found out its poop is reddish-orange because of the orange seafood it eats. And its poop is so big, I don't even have enough clay to show you the amount of poop. It makes so much poop in one day, it weighs the amount of a baby elephant. That's enough to fill an Olympic swimming pool every year. Hey, cannonball! Ew! Who let the whale in the pool? So remember, never swim behind a blue whale. Now here's a question from Madison.
What happens to poop after a century?
To find out, please welcome my special guest, paleontologist, Jordan Mallon. Hey.
Hi, Harrison. I brought something for you.
Cool, a rock.
Well, actually, it's a piece of dinosaur poop.
Ew, you handed me poop?
Yeah, only the best for you.
Oh, okay. How old is all this poop here?
It's pretty old. It's actually millions of years old.
Millions? Well, that's definitely more than a century. So what happens to this poop?
Well, normally poop will degrade, but in this case, we have some examples of some fossilized poop. That is poop that has been replaced by minerals over millions of years.
So they're like rocks now?
Yeah.
What is this one? This one's so big.
It's actually a piece of T-Rex poop. The only example of its kind in existence.
Can I touch it?
Absolutely.
is so weird looking. How does it like become like this?
What happens is most of this fossilized poop comes from carnivores. And the reason being that carnivores usually eat a lot of bone. And the minerals in that bone allow the poop to be fossilized more easily. So most of the fossil poop that we have in the fossil record is from carnivores.
The poop herbivore dinos made was runnier and softer than carnivore poop, so it decomposed and disappeared faster. You have to be very lucky to find fossilized herbivore poop.
The really interesting thing about herbivores is they have to eat plants all day long in order to get enough food, enough nutrition. Because they're always digesting this plant material, their stomachs are constantly producing nauseous gas called methane. Basically, these animals poop all day long, and they would have been quite stinky to see back 65 million years ago.
But at least they don't stink now.
Well, why don't you take a smell for yourself?
I hope it doesn't stink. It smells fine. It smells great.
It's basically just rock.
Thanks for being on my show and showing me all of this poop.
It was my pleasure, Harrison. Thanks for having me on.
And while we're on the subject of stinky stuff, let's get some... Today, we're in a bathroom to talk about farts. So you've all farted before, right?
Yeah!
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, what makes you fart?
Anything. Asparagus. Cheese. And
oh my gosh. When he farts, you can literally see the green gas.
No kidding. The worst.
I don't fart. I can fart on command.
Don't do it. Anything unhealthy, really? Just beans.
Cake, peanut butter and jam sandwiches, and sometimes milk.
And what did you just eat?
Peanut butter and jam sandwiches. To drink, I had a glass of milk.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm still trying to get to the bottom of all your questions. Here's another.
Why do people poop?
I'm glad you asked, Olivia, because it gives me a chance to replay one of my favorite Finding Stuff Out songs.
What happens to our food? Well, if it tastes good, first we chew, then we swallow. Down to our stomach, where it's hollow. Enzymes there, break it down. When they're done, it gets passed around to the small intestine, 7 meters long, takes nutrients out to make us strong. The large intestine absorbs the water, just like a giant paper blotter. And that, my peeps, is the scoop. And what we can't use turns into poop. Yeah, what we can't use turns into poop.
You may have remembered this from the show where I answered your questions about food. But there's more to the story about why we need to poop. Other stuff that we can't use comes out in our daily food. Bacteria is part of that waste, dead cells that our body replaced, and fiber from the plants we ate, but water makes up most of the waste. That's why. But sometimes how doesn't go so smoothly. Here's a question from Catherine.
How does a person become constipated?
Do you ever have that problem? I guess I'll never know, because you can't talk. Well, this is how it happens to people. Some foods have fiber, which we can't digest. But even though our body can't digest it, fiber is still important because it tickles the lining of our intestines. Good tickle! But foods without fiber, like cheese and meat, don't tickle our intestines, so they can sit there a long time. And while they're sitting there, our bowels draw water out of them, making them drier and harder, which is why it can hurt to get constipated. So eat lots of food with fiber in them, and also... Uh-oh, do try this at home. I checked, and besides eating high-fiber food, there's something else you can do to help you if you get constipated. Drink a glass of water to help soften your poop, and do some light exercises to help get those bowels moving. But maybe don't do both at the same time. Uh-oh. I'll be right back. Meanwhile, here's a question from Adriana.
When you eat corn, why when you poop it comes out?
To find out the answer to your question, I've come deep into the woods. And to help me is wildlife biologist, Dr. Murray Humphreys.
Hi, Harrison. How are you doing?
Welcome to my show.
Glad to be here.
So, is your job really studying poop?
Well, yeah, I study wildlife, and a great way to learn about wildlife is to study their poop. It's one of the ways we can tell what animals have been eating, because anything that's left undigested shows up in their poop.
Maybe like corn or something.
You got it, just like corn. And hey, look right there. I see some poop.
Whoa.
So what kind of animal do you think left this, Harrison?
Looks like it could be a rabbit or something.
Well, a rabbit would be perfectly round, but you see how it's a bit oval? That means it's been left by a white-tailed deer. Put this on.
A mask? What is this for?
Well, we gotta pick this poop up, Harrison.
What? Ew.
And before you pick up the poop, you want to put a mask on. There's some dangerous stuff in animal poop, and you don't want to get it in your mouth.
Just so we don't get sick.
That's right. There we go. And
that's just great.
There.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll find some other poop, and the next one you're gonna pick up, Harrison.
What? That's gonna be, it's gonna be magical. Time to find some poop.
Could be anywhere, eh?
Yeah.
What's that right there, Harrison?
Whoa, that's a huge poop. Has to be something big, like maybe a bear.
You got it. That's a bear poop. It's not even a big bear poop. They can be huge.
Well, I guess I should put my mask on.
Go for it, Harrison.
Let's
pick it up.
This poop. Which piece should I grab?
Oh, get as much as you can.
Oh, it's all warm. Oh, this is so gross.
Oh, perfect.
Got
I'll take that from you.
Yeah, you can take care of that.
Can't wait to see what this guy's been eating. Put it in there.
Keep it safe.
Safe. We'll find one more, huh?
One more. Let's go find some poop.
Let's go looking.
Right there. More poop.
Oh, look at that one. That's a beauty.
You can pick it up this time. You're the pro.
Okay, that's a coyote poop. I'm sure of it. But we'll go take it back to the lab, have a closer look.
Awesome.
Away we go.
Let's go.
So let's start with the coyote. It's kind of the biggest bones and obvious here. Anytime you look at a bone like that, it's pretty hard to tell where that's from, what kind of animal. But the best thing is if you can happen to find some teeth.
Oh, there's a couple right there.
Look at those teeth right there, huh?
So we'll be able to tell what he's eating.
Yeah, the teeth are a lot more characteristic of which mammal it's from. I think that must be from a squirrel.
So now we know the coyote's been eating squirrels.
You've got it. If we take a look at the bear next, why don't you take a look at this one? See if you can poke in there. It gets a little smaller. Bears aren't likely to be eating things with big bones.
There's no bones in here.
So you see the grass, and maybe you see some berries, and it means they eat all sorts of stuff.
Right, and now the deer.
The deer. It's actually the hardest to tell because we know a deer is a herbivore. It only eats plant matter. And plants are pretty hard to see. They don't stick out like big bones or anything.
Yeah.
So you gotta look a little closer for that. So we take a little piece and then get it underneath the microscope. Have a look and see what you see.
Oh, whoa, it's just like particles and stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of what we call it is cell walls. You just see the undigestible part of the plants that are left.
Right.
And each of those walls has a characteristic shape.
So depending on what it looks like, that's how you know what type of plant it is.
Exactly. Was it eating willows or alders or what kind of tree or what kind of shrub or what kind of flower was it eating?
So I guess analyzing poop like this is pretty important.
It really is. It tells you a lot about an animal. It tells you what they eat, their health, are they in good condition or bad. It can even tell you whether they're endangered or not. So you really learn a lot.
Wow. Well, thanks so much for helping me find stuff out.
It's great. It's a pleasure to meet you, Harrison.
And this gives me an idea for my great challenge. Today, my challengers are team number 1, Stefano and Joey. What up? And we also have team number 2, Lily and Sabia.
Hi.
So, do you know what's under these plates?
A sugar cream pie. Candy.
You're all wrong, but today your challenge is to figure out what kind of animals that this poop belongs to. It's either gonna be a herbivore, an animal that eats plants, a carnivore, an animal that eats meat, or an omnivore, that's an animal that eats both. Oh, but it's not real poop, it's my poop. I mean, poop that I made. To make my fake poop, I mix some water, brown food coloring, vegetable oil, salt, and flour. Just stir the whole thing and squish it with your hands until it looks like really nice poop. You'll have to dig through the poop to figure out what kind of animal it is.
Okay.
Sound good? So team 1, you're up first. Team 2, you'll have to go downstairs to the bathroom.
Make yourself comfortable.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
All right, here's the first poop for you to dig into.
Oh, well, let's go, Joe. Oh, I see something, Oh, it's a bone. What about this type of? Hey, this one looks like whiskers. Must have ate a bunny or a cat. Carnivore.
That's right. That fake poop is supposed to be wolf poop.
What?
And wolves are carnivores. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, I've seen this one before. Got something. It's meat. Oh. What does it look like, ribs? This is fish. I think it's an omnivore.
Omnivore, that's right, and it's from a bear. Bears eat lots of different kinds of food, including berries and fish, so I put that in my fake bear poop. Ready? Go!
Oh. I got something, Joey, we're going on something. Oh, piece of grass. Herbivore.
That's also right.
Oh, wow.
For 3.
Oh, Joey!
This fake poop is supposed to look like horse poop. It really does. Yeah. Ready? Go.
What? Out of the way, Joe. Oh! It eats bugs. These looks like seeds. I wonder what it could be. I think I got it. I think it's an omnivore.
You're right. It's a raccoon.
Yeah, raccoon.
Raccoons eat all kinds of weird things, including what is in our garbage cans. In this fake poop, there's a mix of seeds, nuts, and crickets.
Oh, wow, we're pretty good at guessing. Got your back! Woohoo!
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here's your first poop to dig into.
Okay.
Since we found all the bones, we think it's the carnivore.
You're right. It's fake wolf poop. Go.
Oh, this one. Oh, this is disgusting. Ew. 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 Are those fish bones? Ew. Oh. Look. Oh. A cranberry or something? It's a fruit. Omnivore?
That's right. It's fake bear poop.
Oh.
Go for it.
Oh. Grass? I think we guessed already. Herbivore?
That's right, it's a herbivore. And this is a horse poop.
Oh, no. Ew.
Here we go.
What is this? I don't know. Is that a bug? I see nuts. An omnivore?
Yes, it's an omnivore. And it's fake raccoon poop.
Oh, okay, that's disgusting.
Okay, so the winner is Team 1.
Yeah!
And Team 2.
Yeah!
It's a tie.
Oh, wow!
All this poop makes me think of a question I got from Dante.
Can poop be recycled?
Ugh.
The Flat Earth Corner! Can it be recycled? Big time. Here in ancient Egypt, we astronomers know all about that. The ancient Egyptians saw that dung beetles recycled poop by eating it and even laying their eggs in it to give new dung beetles the energy to grow. When the ancient Egyptians saw that dung beetles could move balls of poop across the land, they concluded the dung beetle must be the power that makes the sun move across the sky. To them, the dung beetle was sacred and was the god of the rising sun. It renewed the sun every day before rolling it above the horizon, then carried it through the other world after sunset. They actually thought a mystical dung beetle named Capri carried the sun from the other world every morning and took it back there every night. So their scientific method wasn't perfect. The ancient Egyptians were wrong about dung beetles making the sun move across the sky, but there was a connection between the two. The sun is the source of the energy that makes plants grow. Animals eat the plants, then poop out the dung, which the dung beetle uses for food for itself and its babies. So yeah, poop gets recycled in a lot of different ways, but here are some of the weirdest. These wild civet cats eat beans from the coffee tree, then poop them out. People harvest those pooped out beans to make a unique kind of coffee called Kopi Luwak. It's the most expensive in the world. And there's even a toilet that turns our poop into energy. It's called the Luwat. It's modeled from 90% horse poop. Doesn't use any water, and the human poop that gets collected in it is turned into energy. In Germany and lots of other countries, thousands of power plants transform the methane gas in animal and human poop into electricity. Poop is actually becoming an important source of energy. I'm an important source of energy. You You can even live in dung. Cow dung can be recycled into bricks to build houses with. They're lighter and stronger than regular clay bricks. Animal scat is also used for paper. Like this notepad. It was made from elephant poop.
I'll never forget that.
And some people even think they can make you beautiful. In Japan, seagull droppings are used in face cream. I know what you're thinking. Seagull droppings really do give you nice skin. Just kidding. It's just normal moisturizer. You didn't think I was gonna actually put poop on my face, would you? Here's another question. This one's from Sydney.
Why can you eat food, but then since poo is made out of food, then you can't eat poo?
You're right that humans can't eat poop. Here's why. Bacteria in our intestines, that's the part down here, are perfectly safe down there. But the bacteria come out of our bodies in poop. And if they get into other parts of our body, like our mouth, they could make us really, really sick. That's why it's so important to wash your hands with soap after you go to the bathroom. But you want to hear something really gross? I found out there's an Italian type of cheese called panaroni that's made by mixing milk with cow poop. The cow poop helps turn the milk into cheese. Fortunately, the heat it takes to make the cheese kills the bacteria in the poop that might otherwise make us sick. Gorillas actually do eat their own poop to get extra nutrients that they missed the first time. Unlike us, they don't get sick from it. Just thinking about that makes me feel really, really sick. But gorillas aren't the only ones. Plants like fertilizer made from animal dung. It has nutrients that help them grow. Yeah, you do like poop, don't you? But do you make your own? Well, it's time to answer the question that led us through the bowels of science.
How do flowers poop?
The big answer is... quietly. All living things make waste, whether they're a tiny insect or a giant blue whale. Flowers make waste too, but not poop like us. Some of their waste comes out in sap and sticky goo called resins, and some of what is waste to them is actually useful to us. Like the oxygen that we breathe. But plant waste doesn't have the same gases in it as our poop does, so it actually smells good. Well, that's the end of my show. See you next time for more. Dad, couldn't you wait until after the credits roll? First we
This smells bad. This smells good. It's mine. I can totally tell the difference, but my dad never knows when his hockey socks stink. It made me wonder the same thing as Mohammed.
Do bigger noses smell more things?
Well, Mohammed, I don't know if bigger noses are the better smellers. If they were, maybe we'd use elephants instead of dogs to track people by smell. So I don't have the answer yet, but I'm sure I can find out if I get nosy and sniff around. My dad's nose is bigger than mine, but he can't smell the stink. I'll get to the bottom of it by the end of the show. But first, Leah has a question that takes us back to the basics.
How do we smell things?
Well, Leah, we're gonna have to go way up your nostrils to get the answer for that. All the way up our nostrils, there's an area at the top of the nose called the olfactory epithelium. It's just a fancy word for smelling machine. That smelling machine is jam-packed with millions of special receptors that pick up smells that travel through the air. The receptors send a message to our brain, and that's how we recognize a smell. Speaking of funky smells, here's a question from Soham.
Why do feet get stinky? Yuck.
Just so you know, Soham, my feet do not get stinky. At least, I don't think so. I checked, and it turns out there's bacteria living between our toes. But don't worry, they're not the dangerous kind. They like dark, warm, damp places like our feet, and they munch on dead skin and sweat. It's the bacteria's farts that cause the stink. Excuse me. Sometimes it smells like rotten eggs. Nasty. And sometimes it smells like stinky cheese. Ew. How about making something that smells a lot better? The
experiment!
Hi, Cecilia and Arvin.
Hi.
You are scratch and sniff experts, right? Show me your method.
First, you take your 4 gelatin powders.
Strawberry, blueberry, orange, and lime.
You put the gelatin powder in your bowl.
Then we put the water.
1 scoop of water.
Yeah.
And then you put the glue in.
Mix it all together. You have to make sure that you have a little cup and you're gonna trace it with a white crayon. The wax of the crayon keeps the mix from spreading.
You can wait for it to dry.
It only takes a few hours. It's all dry. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye, Zoe.
Bye.
Now, here's a not-so-sweet smelling question from Maddie. How do you know if you have bad breath? Does my breath smell bad? Does it make you kind of sad? Will you tell me if my mouth has a real bad sting? Just take a whip, it's pepperoni pizza, I think. Come on, guys. Let me know. Is it bad? Is it like, whoa? Do I totally reek? I just can't tell. So help me out and tell me if I smell. Asking people around if your breath smells bad is kind of embarrassing. But Maddie, I have an answer for you. Do try this at home. Lick your wrist, then let it dry a bit. That'll tell you how the tip of your tongue smells. Not bad. Then try the back of your tongue with an upside-down spoon, but rub it gently. If the gunk is dark and thick, it most likely means your breath smells bad. So far, so good. A piece of floss through your back teeth is another good way to tell if your breath smells bad. Still fine. Danielle has a question about eating and smelling.
Does food taste the same if you can't smell it?
Hey, I know someone who's an expert on the sense of smell. And guess what? She can't smell anything.
Hey, Zoe.
Hi, Rachel.
Come on in.
Thank you.
So this is my son, Lyndon.
Hi, Lyndon. Rachel, I think it's time for a diaper change.
Oh, why, well, thank you so much for letting me know.
You're welcome. So, when did you realize you didn't have a sense of smell?
Actually around, maybe I was a little bit older than Lyndon is now. I would often get way too close to my brother's diapers. I'd always ask my mom, is that chocolate in there? And I guess after that, it was a good idea to keep me away from diapers. So I have some veggies here for us.
So you never smelled anything in your life?
No, not a single thing. Actually, until I was around 10 or 12, I thought that everyone was playing a joke on me. And it wasn't until one of the boys in class told me, hey, you smell bad. From then on, I realized that smell is a real thing, and it can certainly impact the people around you. Oh, you know what? I've been baking us some bread. I've always been told that fresh baked bread is one of the best smells. And even though I can't smell it, I still love to eat it. It's pretty hot.
Fresh baked bread. It's my favorite smell.
Oh, good.
I asked some of my friends what their favorite smells are.
Pancakes. It's my mom's curry.
Orange.
Chocolate.
Watermelon. Caramel.
Pizza.
Flowers. Vanilla cake. Lavender. I love the smell of books.
And what's your least favorite smells?
Cigarettes. Ugh. Some air fresheners don't smell fresh. Yuck. Skunk.
Cow poop. Oh, that's disgusting.
If someone pukes, I probably will puke after.
Rotten anything. My dog's number 2.
My father's gas. Thanks, guys. Oh, wait, I have another question.
Is it dangerous if you can't smell?
For sure. I'm never gonna be able to smell if there's smoke or a fire nearby. I won't smell any gas leaks.
And is there any advantages of not being able to smell?
I actually think there are way more advantages than disadvantages. And you know what? I have a really good example. This is my husband's hockey gear. Why don't you get close and take a whiff of it?
Just like my dad's stinky hockey socks.
Doesn't affect me at all. This is definitely one of those advantages I was talking about.
Here, Rachel, try this.
Thanks, Zoe.
How does it taste?
It just kind of tastes crunchy to me, to be honest. For me, taste is mostly textures and colors. Actually, have you ever been sick before with a really stuffy nose?
Mm-hmm.
And how does food taste to you when you're all sick?
Well, when my nose is blocked, it doesn't really have a lot of flavor.
Well, that's actually because about 75% of everything we taste is reliant on our sense of smell.
Wow.
If the smell of the food can't reach the receptors in our nose, or they don't work right, our brain doesn't get signaled, and everything we eat will taste nearly the same. So for me, it's kind of like I'm always sick with a stuffy nose.
It's like our nose and tongue work together to make them super tasty.
Exactly, yeah.
The experiment!
I'm going to test how food tastes when I'm smelling something different. Like stinky cheese. I asked my dad to prepare 3 little dishes of mystery food, and I'm going to eat it, and guess what it is? The first one. Sweet potato? Aw, I was wrong. Pumpkin? Nah, I was wrong. It's turkey. Last one. I'm going to guess maybe apple? 1 out of 3, right? Well, I guess I answered Danielle's question. If you can't smell food or smell one thing while eating another thing, it just won't taste the same. Here's another nosy question from Marina.
How do animals with no noses smell?
No nose? No nose? No nose at all? Ow. But seriously, super question.
I found out that crabs have smell-sensitive hairs on their antennae between their eyes.
Smells fishy. Check out how butterflies smell.
They have 6 feet and they smell with them. Their antennae also pick up smells that lead them to flowers with nectar. When they land on the flower, their feet tell them if it's edible or poisonous. Edible! And all those suction cups on octopus arms, they use them for smelling too.
And here's a question from Ryan about a twitching animal nose.
Why do rabbits twitch their nose?
She's a zoologist who knows animal noses. She brought a rabbit to my show to show his. Please welcome Jennifer Sear Devine. Hi, Jennifer. You brought me a rabbit.
His name's Vegas. He's a 2-year-old domesticated rabbit.
Well, I bet I know what his favorite dance style is.
Oh.
Hip-hop.
Very cute.
Look at his nose twitch. Why does he do that?
Well, in short, it's actually to help him smell better. You see, the sense of smell for rabbits is incredibly important to their survival. Inside those nostrils, in the nasal cavity, you have about 100 million smell receptors that help capture the odor from the air.
Is that more than we have?
Way more than humans have. In fact, some scientists say it's up to 20 times more than what humans have.
Wow. So when he twitches, more smell comes in?
That's right. Every time the rabbit twitches its nose, more air is coming into the nasal cavities, and therefore the receptors at the back capture the odors off of that greater amount of air. So the rabbit is basically able to pick up smells that humans can't possibly pick up on.
So he probably smells its carrot, even though I haven't put it in front of his face?
Oh, absolutely. He smelled that a long way off. And what's really interesting is rabbits don't just use their sense of smell to find food. They also use it to know if there's a predator around or to know if there's danger, like a forest fire. What's really cute, if you want to try it, twitch your nose at the rabbit, because every time you twitch your nose at the rabbit, it actually will twitch its nose right back at you.
for helping me find stuff out. You don't happen to have an elephant by any chance, no?
Nope, sorry.
Okay, I'm asking because of Nayla's question.
Oh.
Why do elephants have a long nose? I found out that elephants do have a great sense of smell. But the reason their noses are so big is because elephants are so big. Their gigantic legs and heads make it kind of hard for elephants to bend down for food on the ground or to reach food in trees. Their long nose lets them get at food a lot more easily. An elephant's nose can lift up to 350 kilograms. That's like lifting about 8 toilets. Ta-da! Or 4 kangaroos. Da-da-da! Pretty impressive. At the end of their nose, some elephants have parts that are kind of like fingers that they can use to grab small objects. And because their nose is long and flexible, it can sniff things out without the elephant even moving its head. Plus, they suck up water with their nose and squirt it into their mouths. And that gives me an idea for... My Great Challenge! Okay, for My Great Challenge, we have Leah, who's Elephant Stomper, and Max, who's Elephant Chomper. You guys are gonna use your elephant noses to do elephant things. After that, you have to trumpet as fast as you can because the first elephant to trumpet wins. On your marks, get set, go! First challengers have to pick up 2 bundles of branches. Next, 20 peanuts. By the way, real elephants aren't into peanuts. They're way too tiny to satisfy their huge appetites. Keep going! But picking up peanuts is a tricky challenge. Stomper is in the lead with her peanuts. She's done, and now she has to pick 5 hanging bananas. Go, 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 pick! Chopper only has a few peanuts left. He got them! Chomper's catching up. Stomper has all her bananas, and Chomper is still behind. Stomper is now at the drinking station. That's the last stop. Challengers have to suck up all the water in the bowl and squirt it out. Here comes Chomper. Can he catch up? Remember, first one to trumpet wins. We have a winner. And now, here's a question from Aaron about an animal that smells underwater.
How do sharks smell underwater?
I found out that smell is so important to sharks that they're actually called swimming noses. A shark can smell 1 drop of blood in 1,000,000 parts of water. That's like being able to smell a single teaspoon of juice in a swimming pool. What? You're gonna make my head explode! It seems unbelievable, but it's true. Sharks actually suck in water to take a sniff. The water touches a bunch of sensitive smell receptors inside the nostrils, and they send a message to the brain. Over half their brain is made up of smell detectors. I wouldn't want to have a nosebleed around the swimming nose. Hey, speaking of nosebleeds, how do you stop a nosebleed? Flat Earth Corner! Ah yes, the nosebleed. Here in ancient Rome, we have found the solution. Rub your limbs with sheep wool. But if this doesn't help, you can stuff your nostrils with burnt up ashes from tadpoles. That's pretty wild. Hundreds of years later, it was still kind of weird. A toad worn around your neck will stop the bleeding swiftly. What's that you say? You want a more modern way? No problem. Simply drop a key on a string down your back. Ah, the marvels of modern medicine. So weird. Today, we know you have to. Tilt your head down a bit so the blood won't go down your throat, and then pinch just under the bony part for 5 minutes.
If it just won't stop, get help.
How could some people smell things better than others can?
I checked, and it's mainly because of our genes. No, not the ones we wear.
The genes in our bodies are the things that make us who we are, and every person has their own special combination of smelling genes.
Some people can pick up certain smells that others can't.
And some people have such good senses of smell that their job is to make perfume. Or smell bad odors to help companies make things like deodorant. In some Chinese medicine, they even use professional fart smellers to help detect sickness.
Ooh, very healthy. I want to test my sense of smell. Jennifer agreed to a face-off to see whose nose is more sensitive.
I think I'm ready.
We're using this cool little gadget called the nasal ranger.
It's used to measure the smell from places like landfills and figure out if the stink is too strong.
You can actually see here the filters that allow the air in and out. And this is a little dial that helps determine how much odor is actually coming in. So depending on that dial, it'll determine whether you have a better nose or whether I have a better nose.
I'll start with the cow manure first.
We all smell things differently because there are close to 1 million different combinations of smelling genes.
Don't smell anything yet.
Plus, smell is connected to our memories, emotions, and taste.
Ooh, I'm starting to smell it.
Some people like certain smells that other people can't stand.
Oh, I think I smell something. This is gonna be gross.
But am I picking up the smell of manure and rotten food faster than Jennifer?
Oh!
We both agree they stink.
Woo, it smells like under my kitchen sink. Yep.
We're finishing our experiment with a sweet smell.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. I got it. I like that smell much better.
Much better than those ones. Well, the results are in. I outsmelled ya.
Oh, that stinks.
And my nose is smaller than yours.
You're right.
I think I'm ready to answer the question that started off today's show.
Do bigger noses smell more things?
Well, Mohammed, the big answer is... size doesn't matter. It mostly depends on how many smell receptors we and animals have, and how our brain deals with the information it gets from our nose.
A rabbit's nose is much smaller than a human nose, but it has millions more smell receptors and can smell more things. Dogs are also great smellers, which is why we use them to sniff out dangerous things. Some animals, like butterflies, don't even have a nose, but thanks to the smell receptors on their feet, they can tell what flowers are poisonous. Plus, we all have our own unique combination of genes that make up our smelling machine.
My nose is smaller than Jennifer's and my dad's, but I proved it's more sensitive. Oh. Dad, start the washing machine! Confession. I love peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Have you ever wondered what I'm wondering? How come, if you put peanut butter on one slice and jam on the other, you open it up, peanut butter and jam are stuck on both slices of bread? Why do they stick together like that? In fact, have you ever wondered what Maya is wondering?
Why is there sticky stuff?
Well, Maya, I don't actually know why there's sticky stuff, but by the end of the show, I'll find out. And wearing this special suit, I will throw myself at the wall, which is made of this special sticky stuff, and see if I stick to it, just like my phone.
Who invented sticky stuff?
I checked, and humans made glue 70,000 years ago. Just like us, prehistoric people needed glue to help one thing stick to another. Ancient humans discovered that by mixing tree sap with other stuff, they could make a strong glue. about making glue, here's a question from Noam. How do you make things stick? To answer that, he knows all about stuff that sticks. He can glue a duck to a stick. Here's chemical engineer Phil Scriver.
Hi, Zoe.
Wow, you really can glue a duck to a stick. Will you stick around to help me answer some questions about glue? I was talking to Phil. So, to answer Noam's question, how do you make stuff stick?
The first thing you really have to do is pick the right type of glue. There's a lot of different things in the world that stick, and that's because at a very small level, things aren't really flat. They actually have little branches off them, and those things stick to each other when they come in contact. Do you think that water is very sticky?
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem like it's very sticky, but when you think about getting out of a swimming pool, you have water stuck all over your arms. Let's try it with these discs. Let's put a few drops of water on there. So do we think that's gonna stick to each other?
No.
I'm just holding on to the very top one.
Whoa.
And it's stuck.
That's crazy.
So the water likes to stick to the two plastic discs, but it doesn't stick to itself very well, so it'll slide down. How about some jam?
Sure.
So in jam, you have a lot of sugars in there, and sugar has a lot of different branches on it, and those branches can cling onto things and make it very sticky.
Whoa.
It sticks that way. What about sideways? Do you think it's gonna drop right away?
No.
It's starting to drop a little bit, but it's much stronger than water. Now, can you pull it apart?
Let me see. Yeah.
So it does a good job of sticking to the plastic, but again, it's not sticking to itself very well. And that's really what makes a good glue, is not only does it stick to what you're putting together, but it needs to stick to itself.
Now for some real glue.
It takes about 10 minutes for it to fully dry.
Oh, that's really stuck together. Okay, this is nothing like what happened to the water. This glue sticks to the plastic and to itself. The water stuck to the plastic, but not to itself.
This is a giant Post-it note.
Wow.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the adhesive of one Post-it note, which is here, and we're gonna stick another one to it to see how strong it is. We'll give you some gloves to make sure that you don't get any paper cuts.
Oh, wow, that is hard. Hey!
You see, the paper broke before the glue separated from itself. That shows you how strong it can be.
Phil says the sticky note is full of bubbles, so it's easy to peel off because the bubbles only touch a small area. Join two sticky notes together, and they're still easy to peel off. But if you pull on them, the bubbles get locked together, making the bond super strong. Try it at home. Ah, I ripped the paper again.
But again, if we peel it in the other direction, it comes off.
Wow. Thanks for being on my show and helping me find stuff out.
You're welcome.
I'm sure my viewers were glued to their televisions watching. It's amazing that there are so many types of sticky things. But what's even more amazing is that it wasn't actually people who invented the first sticky thing. Bees make honey, and you know how sticky that is. Frogs, salamanders, and chameleons all have long tongues covered in a layer of mucus. That's sort of like snot. Blech.
Oh.
And I found out that the mucus is sticky, but not sticky enough to actually hold the prey. See? So the tongue takes the shape of a suction pad just before it catches its prey. The sticky mucus helps create a seal so it can catch its prey. Ta-da!
Oh.
But there are other animals that make sticky stuff too. Here's a question from Eli. How come a spider doesn't stick to its web? I checked, and the answer is pretty amazing. Spiders make a glue-like material that's stretchy and sticky. So when a bug flies into the spider's web, it gets stuck and can't escape. But spiders can walk on it quickly because their hairy feet keep them from sticking. Spiders also build resting places without the glue, so they don't get stuck. Smart. But some animals do the opposite. They want to stick to things. I found out that lizards called geckos can stick to walls and even hang upside down because their toes are covered with millions of tiny hairs that use very small electrical forces to stick to almost anything. And now, here's another sticky question.
Why do magnets stick to fridges?
Well, Anea, I checked, and here's what I found. Magnetism is an invisible force. It's not sticky like glue or honey, but it can make certain things stick to each other, like this. I'm trying out this magnet on different kinds of things. And as you can see, it only sticks to some of them. That's because magnets only stick to things made from the minerals iron, nickel, or cobalt. Let me show you with my super zoom-o-matic. Magnets create an invisible magnetic field around themselves that attracts those minerals. Just like this bucket, a refrigerator is made of metal. And some of the metal is iron. And this invisible magnetic energy field is attracted to iron. And that gives me an idea for...
My Great Challenge!
Today's challengers are Bleeds from Team Spider.
Hey. Team Spider!
And Coyote, your Team Gecko.
Woohoo! Team Gecko!
Both of you have the same number of mascots. Some can be small and heavy, others big and light. Your challenge is to stick your mascots to the wall panels using the magnets on your table. But here's the catch. Some of the small magnets can be stickier than the big ones, and some parts of the walls can respond to magnets more than others. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Team Spider picks a big magnet and a big spider, and it sticks.
Got it.
Team Gecko sticks a small gecko. Spider doesn't want to stick.
Oh man, it's so hard.
But neither does that gecko. Team Gecko trying a smaller but stronger magnet.
Some of these magnets don't work for the other ones.
That's right. Not every magnet is strong enough to hold up every creature. That one sticks. Good, Gecko. Team Gecko has 2 right now. Gecko trying a large magnet. Gets number 3. There's 4. Team Spider gets her second.
You're going down, Bleeds.
Go, Team Spider! Spider chooses a big magnet, looking for the sticky spot. Yes! Are Gecko's feet sticky? Yes. Team Spider with one that is just too heavy for the magnet she chose. She's trying a smaller but stronger magnet. Small magnet, large spider. That worked! Small magnet, small but heavy gecko. And Spider doesn't want to stick. But Gecko does.
Last one. Done.
Team Gecko, you win. Woo! So what was the trickiest part?
Some of the small magnets were really tricky because I thought they would be not as sticky, so I'd put them with the smaller ones, but then they would stick really hard and I wouldn't have any really sticky ones for the big ones and they would all fall.
The hardest part was finding which ones stick with which and where does it go.
Well, challengers, thanks for being on my show. Now here's a question from Noah.
Is it possible to make glue with ordinary stuff?
Do try this at home. My friends Christopher and Alyssa are gonna find out. They're trying a really simple experiment with just 2 ingredients, flour and water. Mix them together and you got glue, which you can use for paper mache. It's great for making stuff. But now, Sienna and Spencer are gonna make an even stronger glue. First, mix some vinegar and milk together, filter the liquid out, and you're left with curds. Mix in some baking soda and a bit of water, and you get a pretty strong glue.
I think it's ready.
Bye, Zoe. Bye. It works. Now, here's a sticky question from Anthony. Is it true that they use glue to make big airplanes? Glue to make airplanes? I don't know about that. I wonder what other kids think.
Ask a friend.
Glue is not the strongest thing that you could use to build an airplane.
It would just crash, it would break. It would fall onto the ground, it wouldn't have enough strength.
What if it starts raining? It's gonna get so wet, it's just gonna fall off and the plane's gonna fall apart.
It'll crash and fall, and that would be a bad experience for a plane. Guess what? I found out that they do use glue to make airplanes. And not just for toy planes like this one. Real jet airplanes, flying faster than the speed of sound. Thousands of meters in the air. How is that possible?
Head getting warm, brain swirling with synapses as strong as G-forces. Starting to go unglued! You're gonna make my head explode!
How is it possible to use glue to make an airplane? To find out how it's possible, I came here to the National Research Council's Flight Research Lab. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Zoe.
So, what do you do here?
I'm an engineer working on aerospace materials and structures.
Lucy tells me that materials used in airplanes have to be very strong and very light. Why would anyone use glue to make a real airplane?
Take a look at this plane. What do you see here?
I see screws, and what are those bumps called?
Rivets. What do they do?
It looks like they're holding the parts of the plane together.
Yes, they add a lot of weight, and also at the same time, the rivets that are poking out from the surface add a lot of resistance for airplane to move forward.
Lucy tells me that because the rivets stick out, they drag through the air and slow the plane down. So what's this about glue? Why is it better?
Let me show you. Take a look at this airplane. This airplane is made out of composite materials.
So what are composite materials? Lucy says it's fibers held together with glue. Composite materials are really strong and much lighter than metals used in older airplanes. Glue is also used to hold composite parts together in newer planes.
Now, what do you see on the surface of the skin? Nothing. Do you see any rivets?
No. So this airplane is made and held together with glue?
Yes, it's a much lighter structure, and without the rivets, there's less resistance for the airplane to take off and to fly faster.
Airplanes made with glue really won't fall apart?
Let's do some experiments to prove it, but we'll need some help.
Hi! Oh, it's Lucy's son, Alan.
And we're at National Research Council Canada. We make stuff and we break stuff.
It's pretty amazing.
Today, I have a set of experiments to prove glue is strong enough to hold an airplane together. Okay, let's put on safety glasses. Those are the stuff we're gonna use for our experiments today. They're real materials that real airplanes are made out of. And today, we're going to glue those pieces together the way we glue real airplanes together.
This kind of special glue is red, and it comes in sheets packed in white paper. We pull one piece of paper off and put the glue on the part.
Don't worry if it's not perfect, you can always move it a little bit.
Then we take off the other sheet of paper and put the other part on what we want to glue. Then everything goes on this tray, but it's not sticking yet. Now we're going to cook it. What is this anyways?
This is called an autoclave. It is the biggest oven you've ever seen.
This oven is gonna make the glue really hard and strong. And this is the machine Lucy uses to test parts. It pulls on them until they break. That's how we can tell how strong something is. Oh, our part's ready to test. Let's try it out.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, we've got the part in the high-tech destruction machine, and we're turning it on.
This one will be different.
Nothing's happening.
Yes. And get ready for action. Hear sound? That means something is possibly something is breaking. Whoa! Whoa! Did you hear that?
Still nothing's happening.
To make sure airplanes are super safe. Whoa, look at that.
Mama, something shooted.
Look at that.
Something shooted outside. That's so cool.
Yeah, so you see where it broke?
Yeah.
It broke somewhere near the wing.
So the part broke, but the glue didn't?
That's correct. So the glue is strong enough to hold the airplane together.
It shows how strong glue can be. All right, let's see how well glue really holds this plane together. So far, we've seen sticky things that we humans have made on purpose. But we make other sticky stuff, whether we want to or not, as this question from Alessandro points out.
Why is snot sticky? Ew.
Flat Earth Corner! Ugh, snot! Why it's not sticky? Well, here in ancient Greece, We're not actually sure why yet. But we doctors do know what snot does. It sends vapors to your brain that make you sluggish and lazy.
Ah, my peanut butter sandwich.
I feel a little bit tired. Ew.
Maybe someone mixed snot in the peanut butter.
It's so good though. Nowadays, scientists know that mucus does not create gases that make you tired and go into your brain. It's actually there to protect the sensitive insides of your body from stuff like germs and dust. That's why it's sticky. Things stick to the mucus and don't get in your body. And that gives me an idea for a song. Some people think that's not as icky. There's a reason that it's sticky. 'Cause germs and pollen, sand and dirt should not be up where they cause hurt. So if someone tells you snot is sticky, tell them it's supposed to be sticky. And they might like to think it's gross, but it's not. It's not! It's not! It's not! Boy, what a difference an S makes. Snot! Things that feel sticky aren't the only things that stick, though. Remember those magnets? And what about this sticky stuff? Why does this stuff stick together? To help me find out, Julie Berry is here from Velcro Companies, which makes the original hook and loop product that keeps our clothes and shoes on. Welcome.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
So, what are these products and how'd they get invented?
In the 1950s, there was a Swiss inventor named George de Mestral who happened to take his dog for a walk in the woods. And as he was walking his dog, these little burrs started to stick to the dog's fur. And so he pulled them out and noticed that they had these strange hooks on them, and it was the hooks that was grasping the dog's fur, and he had an idea to create a product. These straps are made up of two sides. So you have a very soft, fuzzy side. We call that the loop. And the side that sticks to the loop are hooks. And if you look at them very close under a microscope, you'll see thousands of tiny, tiny hooks that are able to grab the soft part of the product.
I think the time has come for me to try it out. Are you sure this will work?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, then don't try this at home. Here we go. This is incredible! Thanks for being on Finding Stuff Out and making the student wall for me.
Thanks for having me. I hope you had fun.
I had so much fun.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
And that takes us back to the question that started this sticky odyssey.
Why is there sticky stuff?
Well, Maya, the big answer is... in order to survive, certain living things use stuff to stick to other stuff. Some animals need sticky stuff so they can catch their prey. Plants have sticky pollen so that insects can carry it and help them reproduce. Our body makes sticky stuff to stop germs and dust from getting inside. And we've invented sticky stuff to do all kinds of jobs. Yeehaw! Wow, this is really sticky. Julie, still there? Mom, Dad, can somebody get me off this wall? Well, there's no point of you sticking around. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out. Man, I wish I had a peanut butter sandwich. Hope I didn't scare you. This is a moose collar, and that was a moose call. I'm using it because today I'm going into the woods to explore a place that I've had a lot of questions about, including this one. Do we need forests? Well, Julia, I don't actually know. I mean, it seems like a nice place, but do we really need forests? What do you think?
I don't know.
By the end of the show, I'll have the answer. Meanwhile, here's a question from Alessandro.
Is it bad to cut down trees in the forest?
Flat Earth Corner! Is it bad to cut down trees in the forest? Of course not. Look how many there are. If I cut down trees forever, there would still be a lot more. Where'd all the trees go? People used to think that forests were endless, and they could cut down as many trees as they wanted. And there were a lot of forests. I checked, and scientists think that at one time, forests covered this much of the world. But because of people cutting down trees, the forest now only covers this much of the world. I found out that without forests, wild animals have no place to live. Nowadays, they even go into neighborhoods where people live. Animals definitely need forests for their home. And Amanda had a question about that. How many kinds of living things are in the forest? Living things like birds, mammals, amphibians, reptiles, insects, microbes, big living things, tiny living things, things that eat plants, things that eat the things that eat plants. And there are plants too. Head getting warm. Brain trying to imagine all those creatures. Must be hundreds. No, thousands. No, tens of thousands. Reaching overload! Ah! You're gonna make my head explode! They're still discovering new species all the time, and no one knows how many kinds of living things are in the forest, but they all need to eat. And we're going to meet some of them right now. She knows about animals that live in the forest. She's bringing some in now, and I know that they won't bore us. Here's Jennifer Sierra.
Hi.
Hi. This doesn't eat people, does it?
No, absolutely not. Don't worry. This is actually an American kestrel, and her name is Sapphira.
Where does she live?
Well, this is a type of bird that lives in open fields and meadows, often close to forests. So forests are a little bit like a refrigerator whereby sometimes the mice and the insects all come out. And when she can spot them, oh, she's in seventh heaven. That's the way she can find all sorts of yummy food to eat.
So what do you guys feed her?
Well, at the Eco Museum Zoo, we feed her mice and we sometimes feed her little birds because that's sometimes what they'll be eating in the wild as well. Would you like me to go and get some more?
Sure.
Excellent.
Wow, what kind of snake is that?
This is what we call a black rat snake. Sometimes people refer to them as gray rat snakes. It loves to climb up into trees. I know it's hard to believe considering it doesn't have any arms or legs, but these guys can actually climb very easily.
Does it bite?
They can bite. Would you still like to touch?
Sure. Whoa, that's like scaly. That's funny.
Those are all scales. They have them all over their bodies.
Wow, this frog is huge.
It's actually what we call a bullfrog because this is a large type of frog, just like bulls are pretty large.
So why is it good for them to live in the forest?
In the forest where they live, as long as it's near water, they'll be able to find all sorts of insects and all sorts of little mice to eat, and that's what they love. They can eat fish that are found in the water, as well as a mammal that flies at night. Bats.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. And you want to know how they eat the bat?
How?
Well, they have to launch towards it with their bodies, their mouths open, their tongues sticking out like this. They catch the bat in their mouths with their teeth, it keeps them in place, and then they push it down with their hands, the muscles in their throat. They have to bring their eyes inside their heads and push the food right down their throat.
That's so cool.
This is what we call an opossum, and this is from the marsupial group, so it's the same group as koalas and kangaroos.
What does she eat?
She can eat a little bit of everything, actually. She's rather omnivorous, so she can eat fruits, she can eat seeds and nuts, she can even eat other types of animals, like insects, mice. So you can see, if, like the forest floor, she's trying to push all the leaves around, all the pieces of wood, and she's trying to find all sorts of fruits that might have fallen from trees and insects that are hidden under all these branches, just like she'd be doing in the forest.
Thanks for being on my show and helping me find stuff out.
Thanks for having us.
Here's another question from Joseph.
Are all forests the same?
To answer that question, I've come to meet an expert on Vancouver Island that has some of the most beautiful forests on Earth. She knows about the trees and all the forest things she sees. Here's Julie Fortin.
So I brought you this little fir seedling. And one day, this little seedling is going to be a huge part of this big forest.
How tall could it grow?
Douglas firs can grow up to 60 meters tall and have really wide trunks.
Wow.
So the kind of forest it would live in is a forest like around here. It's a temperate rainforest. The kinds of trees we would find here are especially the Douglas fir, but also things like this arbutus right behind us. The arbutus is a very interesting tree because it sheds its bark in the summer instead of shedding its leaves in the fall.
What other kind of forests are there?
There are tropical rainforests.
Like the jungle in the Amazon?
Yeah. There are temperate rainforests, which is like the one that we're in right now. There are boreal forests further north. And there is this really cool thing called cloud forests, which are forests that kind of sweat, and then they create their own clouds.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Why aren't all forests the same? Like, why isn't forest like the jungle?
Not all forests are the same because trees need 3 things to grow. They need light or energy, they need water, and they need nutrients. Light, water, and nutrients aren't spread out the same around the globe. For example, in the desert, there isn't enough water to grow forests.
What about in the Arctic? Here's a question from Neil, who lives there, way up north.
I live in Igloo. Why aren't there forests here?
You won't find forests up north in the Arctic Circle because it's just too cold for trees to grow.
Speaking of trees and forests, who's in the mood for a little experiment? The experiment! Did you know you can tell how old a tree is by counting its rings? Not these kind. Not those kind of rings either. These kind. I asked my friend Cash Noah to count some rings. In the spring, trees grow very quickly, slow down in the fall, and then stop in the winter. This creates a tree ring every year. I think mine's about 23 years old.
I think mine's about 37.
Wow. But that's so small.
Yeah, and that one's big. I wonder why this one's older, but it's smaller.
Well, I found out it's because trees are just like people. They grow in all different sizes. It also depends on where the trees are growing. Rings tell you a lot about climate change, like if the tree had enough water or how hot or cold it was that year. A wide ring means a tree had what it needed to grow, but a skinny ring means it may have had a tough year. So because rings are not all the same, they're tricky to count. I think this tree was born in 1932. That's like when my great-grandmother was born.
Well, mine was born in 1894.
That's like when my great-great-great-great-grandmother was born. That seems pretty old, but I found out that some trees have thousands of rings. The oldest is not that big, but it's still 5,000 years old. That's 5,000 rings. Imagine counting that.
My tree is 120 years old.
Mine's 84 years old.
Bye, Zoe.
Bye. Thanks, Kashvi and Noah. Now, here's a question from Andrew.
What do we get from the forest?
Off the top of my head, I know that we get wood for houses like this. And we get paper from trees in the forest. Try living without toilet paper. Thank you for that one, forests. I checked, and there are lots of other things that we get from forests. And that's the subject for today's My Great Challenge! Today's challengers are Aiden and Tristan. Yeah! Justin and Sterling. Yeah! So Aiden and Tristan, your team oak. Justin and Sterling, your team pine. You see those items on the table, right? Yeah. Your challenge is to pick up what you think is made from things from the forest. The team that guesses the most correctly and the least incorrectly wins. Let's pull branches, to decide who goes first. And Team Pine wins, so you guys go first. But wait till I blow my super moose signal. 3, 2, 1.
Time to move.
I think we should pick the hockey stick.
Yeah, it's made out of wood. It's a good idea.
What about
Paper is made out of trees, right?
I don't. Yeah.
So we should maybe take that.
Yeah.
We should take maple syrup. It's made in springtime from trees.
Should we take the birdhouse? It's made from wood.
What about this mask-looking thing?
Yeah, it looks like it's made of wood. What about this book? It's made from paper, so it's probably from trees.
Yeah. What about this toilet paper? The paper is made from trees.
Yeah. Now can we try the electric guitar?
Yeah, maybe.
The rocks are natural.
I think that's cool.
It's still natural. Let's take it.
Oh yeah, it's true. We should take that. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Is it butter? We should probably take it.
Oh, paper. Yeah, paper. Maybe take that t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this box. Maybe this bouncy ball.
Maybe.
So just take ping pong balls. There's nothing else we can really pick.
Both teams are done. They did not pick the rubber boots, plastic container, or the rubber tire.
Are you sure everything on your table comes from the forest?
No.
I forgot to mention, you lose a point for every wrong answer.
I'll give you one chance to put everything back that you don't think comes from the forest.
Back the guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe you should put that
Butter.
And what about this ball?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, these ping pong balls
Or plastic.
Yeah, and they're ping pong-ish.
Okay, Team Oak, you have 6 items that you thought came from the forest. Team Pine, you have 9 items that you thought came from the forest. So the good news is, everything that you put on your table came from the forest.
Yes.
But the bad news is, everything that you put down or didn't pick up also came from the forest.
It was probably easier to figure out stuff like paper, maple syrup, or the hockey stick. But I found out that ping pong balls and fabrics can be made from tiny fibers from plants and trees, just like paper. Margarine can be made from palm tree oil. Rubber balls and ties are made with the help of rubber trees. That plastic container is made from oil. And just like coal, it's a leftover of forests that grew hundreds of millions of years ago.
So what are you guys most surprised about?
The ping pong balls and the guitar. Yeah, the guitar.
Yep, it's made of wood, but it's painted and varnished.
Well, thanks for being on my show and doing the challenge.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Now I'm going back to the forest to see what else comes from there. I have a few guests who know the forest really well.
This is Natanis and her family. This is Shia. This is Sequitin. And this is Hallie, and that's Natanis. They are members of the New Chinook First Nations, and they live here in a forest on Vancouver Island.
Natanis, why is nature so important to your culture?
Forest was everything to us. Instead of going to a grocery store, we would get all our food from here. Everything that we used to stay alive, our shelter, our food, or even our clothing. And sometimes we don't even notice the smallest little things was used for everything. Say what you're sitting on, Zoe. This is called sphagamos. And sphagamos was picked, and then all the sticks were taken out and to make it really soft, and they were used as diapers.
Wow.
It was the very first disposable diaper, and it was actually good for the environment. Shia brought you a basket.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Thank you. I can't believe it's made of the forest. I'm so excited. This is a salmon. Wow, that tastes delicious.
This is an indigenous blackberry. It's like a little vine that grows. And the young girls used to like taking it here, and you would make a little hair ornament, and the girls would wear it and decorate their hair. You'd spend all day out here, and you'd be singing songs, and you'd be singing to the trees, and you'll also be letting the bears know that I'm here.
We're out in the middle of the woods looking for plants and berries, so we have to sing a song to let the bears know that we're here. Bears hate surprises. If you surprise a bear, he might think you're threatening him, and he could attack to protect himself. Singing lets him know that you're coming and don't mean any harm. Bears like to be alone, and usually they'd much rather be out of your way.
All around us, right in this one little area, we have all different kinds of medicine and food. So everywhere you walked, there was something that we used. Cedar was the most used tool of the coastal people. Huge canoes would be made out of this, and they would be pounded into very fine fiber, and they would be made into clothes.
I never thought that you can use so much things in the forest. Thanks for being on my show.
You're welcome, Zoe.
I think we're getting closer to answering if we need forests. Animals for sure need forests. And we need a lot of stuff we get from forests. But are they good for anything else? I think I have time for a couple more questions.
How do forest fires start?
I checked, and I found something out super surprising. Fires are a natural part of the forest life cycle. Lightning causes lots of forest fires, but experts say that can actually help trees. Forest fires are as important to the forest as the sun and the rain. Some trees, like these giant sequoias, depend on fires to reproduce. Their cones need heat to open and release their seeds. Ashes make great tree food, and more sunshine gets through, helping new bushes and trees grow a lot better. This is good for animals looking for food, but some fires can be really bad. Hey, where did everybody go? It's bad for forests when fires get out of control. Most forest fires are caused by one living creature. Can you guess which one? Nope. It's this creature, humans! When you're finished toasting your marshmallow, make sure the campfire is out. Here's a question from Pierce.
Does the weather change because of forests?
I did a little research, and to answer that question, I've made an animation. Forests affect the weather and climate in a lot of ways. First, they draw a gas called carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that heats up the atmosphere. So having forests help keep the Earth's temperature from getting super hot. And forests create shade, keeping things cool beneath their leaves. Their root systems absorb water, which helps prevent flooding.
Cool.
Without trees to soak up water, rivers could flood more easily and deserts could spread because the water runs away instead of being stored in the trees.
Aww.
Don't you breathe easier knowing that forests are taking care of us? Hey, that gives me an idea for... Uh-oh, do try this at home. Here's something super easy, but I bet a lot of you don't do this. Next time you're in the woods, take deep breaths of fresh air. I found out that some scientists say that just being in the woods can make us healthier and happier. What do you think?
Ask a friend. I really like being around trees.
Makes me feel like I could do anything I want because there's so much space.
I would like to play in it, but I would stay there forever.
You can hike and it makes you feel sporty.
I like a lot of things about the forest. There are a little relaxing noise in the forest of like birds, water. It relaxes you. I like climbing trees. I feel happy, excited, and alive.
So if you're ever camping or in the park with lots of trees, try it out. Listen to the sounds of the birds and the wind in the leaves. Take a deep breath of freshly made oxygen and smell the soil in the plants. It just might make you feel better and healthier. And that takes us back to the question that started it all.
Do we need forests?
Well, Julia, the big answer is... yes. And I wrote a song inspired by your question.
The forests are a swinging place for monkeys, moose, and bats. Bears, raccoons, wolves, and weasels, it's their habitat. Tigers, bugs, gorillas, snakes, orangutans, and bees. The world looks different when you see the forest for the trees. Wood for houses and for warmth, chairs and piano keys. Toilet paper, cardboard boxes, and tissue when we sneeze. Achoo! Medicine and furniture and oxygen to breathe. The world looks different when you see the forest for the trees.
That's my show for today. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out. I think I'll hug a tree. Ow, you're prickly. Maybe I'd be better off hugging a moose. Moo! Moo!
Welcome to Finding Stuff Out, where you ask me your burning questions of the... Where you send me your burning questions of the day. I search for the answers. Today, we're answering questions all about bugs. I brought this cool mosquito tank to show you, but on the way here, the door opened and they all flew away, except for one, which just won't leave me alone. Okay, first question. It's from Rim.
Are mosquitoes good for anything, or are they just annoying?
Well, I'm really tempted to say they're just annoying, but every question on my show gets a fair and proper investigation. And by the end of the show, I'll give you my final verdict. Here's a question for you. What's the worst thing about bugs?
Street smarts!
So here I am, and I want to find out what's the worst thing about bugs.
The worst thing about bugs is eating them.
The worst thing about bugs is finding them in your house.
The annoying sound they make in your ears.
They may be poison. It's when they bite or sting. They're just disgusting.
See, it's not just me. Okay, I'll dig a little deeper. Here's a question from Geva.
How many different kinds of bugs are there?
One too many, but let's see. There's beetles, black ants, bees, red ants, carpenter ants, my Aunt Louise, who does sort of look like a bug, grasshoppers, mosquitoes, butterflies, shoe flies, house flies, horse flies, Jiminy Cricket!
You're gonna make my head explode!
I'm gonna need some help here. Please welcome today's guest. She loves bugs. She spends all day with bugs. Please welcome Marika DeChambeau.
Hi. I hope you don't mind. I brought a friend with me.
So, how many kind of bugs are there?
Actually, if you count just insects rule. There are like over 1 million species of insects that are described by scientists. That means that insects that have names.
Wow.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's a lot of bugs. I feel outnumbered.
You are, actually. Okay, so if you take just the ants and you put them on a giant scale, and then you take the humans, all the humans on the planet, and put them on the other side, imagine that. Ants weigh more than humans. What? And that's only ants, yeah. So yeah, we are outnumbered, but they live everywhere. Insects are tiny, so their home, instead of being like a huge forest, is a plant. And if a plant is an apartment, then a tree is like a city for insects. So there's many, many places where they can live, and that's why they're so numerous. They can live anywhere on the planet.
I'm gonna need a bigger fly swatter. That reminds me of a question we got earlier from Peter.
My question is, what bug is the biggest?
Marika?
If you talk about weight, then it's gonna be beetle. And this particular beetle I brought here is the Goliath beetle. Just the name reminds you that it's huge, you know, Goliath beetle
Goliath.
or Hercules beetle. These babies can weigh up to 3/4 of a pound, so that's pretty heavy for a bug, actually.
3/4 of a pound? That's as heavy as 2 cheeseburgers.
So imagine when that is flying around, it actually sounds like a helicopter.
Actually?
Yeah. And in Africa, where they come from, if you go on the road, sometimes there's yellow signs, you know, where you have these signs where they say you have to be careful of deer. And they have the same signs, but for beetles. Imagine that. They're that big. But if you get them in your windshield while you're driving, it's kind of like having a huge rock flying in your windshield, so it's kind of dangerous. You have to be careful. I also brought a giant millipede with me.
Okay.
It also comes from Africa. It's pretty huge. Quite tickly.
What the?
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
A tiny hand massage.
Now it's going around.
You're good. And this is not exactly an insect. There's differences between these kind of bugs and insects. Do you have a clue how we differentiate them?
Not really.
No. It's actually the number of legs.
Oh, okay.
When you know it, it's really easy.
Okay.
So if you see 6 legs, it's a bug, it's an insect.
Okay.
If you see 8,
it's not an insect.
You're close. It's hairy sometimes, and it lives in burrows.
Spiders.
There you go. So
Okay.
spiders have 8 legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And millipedes are called myriapods, which means a lot of legs. They're all bugs, but they're not all insects.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the longest bugs are stick insects, like this one, for example. They actually look like branches or leaves, and they do that to avoid getting eaten by predators. Some of them are much bigger, just like this one. See how the size is different?
Yeah.
But some of them are even bigger than this one. Yeah, they can reach 50 centimeters in length.
It's like,
I know.
Look at that.
Well, the branch is kind of long too, so they're good at imitating branches. Do you want to pick that one up?
Sure.
It's your new friend.
It's my new friend?
Yeah.
Well, not
Just
really.
put your hand in front.
There we go.
There.
His feet are sticky.
I know.
Now he wants you.
See? There. So this is one example of a stick insect that's more a leaf bug, so it imitates a leaf. It's pretty cool though. You can see his legs look like little leaves too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's the same thing then with the other one. It only eats leaves, so it cannot hurt you in any way. Yeah.
So he eats leaves, and he looks like a leaf.
Exactly, a leaf that eats leaves.
So earlier I looked up the biggest bug that ever lived, and fortunately they're extinct, but I made a model of it and it's practically a kite.
Yeah, that's a giant dragonfly actually. Their name is Meganeura. Its cousins, today's dragonfly, are much smaller. But small is good for insects because they can be everywhere.
Yeah. Yet, even small insects have a way of making a big impression. Let's take a look at another question.
Why do mosquitoes suck our blood?
The short answer is because they've been watching Twilight with your big sister. Vampires are so cute. Let's ask someone who knows. Marika?
Mosquitoes are not like vampires. They don't eat blood. Actually, they eat nectar from flowers, just like bees. But female mosquitoes, when they have eggs in their belly, then they will need to feed on blood to feed their eggs. So only females bite us to come and get our blood.
So mosquitoes drink nectar, like from a flower?
They do.
Wow, you've really helped us find a lot of stuff out. Thanks for being on the show, Marika.
It's my pleasure.
Here's another question. This one's from Stefania.
What do bugs eat?
Me, unfortunately, Stefania. Did you know mosquitoes think kids are tastier than grown-ups? I was surprised when I found out. But the weirdest thing bugs eat is, well, poop.
Poop is the dung beetle's favorite food. They like it so much they'll actually fight over it. That's got to be one stinky food fight. But that's nothing compared to killer insects. And I went to a place where killer insects live. The bug house. They'll stomp on you. They'll mush you up with their claws. They'll eat you for breakfast. They're killer insects. Feed me! Ah! To find out about killer insects, I'm here at a place where they raise them. Don Elliott is an entomologist. That's a scientist who studies insects. He grew up in the rainforests of South America, where insects rule. So they're not gonna kill me, right?
Oh no, we just raise good insects.
So what's the difference between good and bad insects?
Well, good insects are beneficial insects like bees and the predatory insects we raise. Bad insects are things like ants, fire ants, and things that cause harm to people and crops. What we do is add good insects to the mix, and the good insects eat the bad ones.
But they don't eat the crops?
They only feed on the bad insects.
Those red things are good bugs. They're the larvae of a midge. That's a type of tiny fly. You could say that larvae are baby bugs. And when they hatch, the first thing those baby bugs want to do is eat and eat and eat. And the thing they like to eat the most are aphids. Those are bad bugs that like to eat our crops. This is another good killer bug. Yep. A ladybug. They can eat up to 1,000 aphids a day.
Ladybugs? Everyone thinks they're like cute and precious, but they're actually T-Rexes.
Do you want to see how we collect the insects?
Sure.
Well, we first stop as a water slide for insects.
A water slide? Cool! Let's go see the water slide!
Come on in.
Whoa, look at all the bugs.
Yes, these are good bugs and bad bugs. This is how we collect them.
When these red larvae have eaten their fill of aphids, they drop off the leaf. And when they reach the ground, they start changing from babies to adults. but Dawn's water slide catches them before they hit the ground. They go for a ride. Whoa! And come out the other end. Here.
Whoa, it's like a toilet that's spinning around.
The larvae are carried by the water into this screen.
Oh, whoa.
Those are all the larvae.
How many are in there?
Oh, 10,000.
That's a lot.
Dawn ships the larvae to farmers all over the world so that they can turn into these grown-up killer bugs. These midgets will lay more eggs that will turn into more hungry larvae.
These things are so tiny. Can we see them up close?
Sure. Let's go and take a look through a microscope.
Okay.
Whoa! Hey, that one's eating the other one. Oh, that's disgusting.
That's life. Life in the bug world.
Whoa.
Okay, so some bugs like eating other bugs. Here's a really good related question from Madeline.
Why do people eat bugs?
I didn't know we did, except maybe on a dare. My good friend Sydney lives near someone who can answer your question.
The Sydney Report.
Today we're here with Professor Massimo Marconi to talk a bit about bugs. Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to have you. Would you like to try some insect tea?
Yes, please. Thank you. Insect tea, you say?
Exactly.
What's it made of?
This is actually the poop of the insect.
Really? I guess I shouldn't have asked that. So, I see that we have quite an assortment of foods as well as these bugs. What are these all for?
Well, in all these foods, when we are consuming them, we're consuming insects.
Oh boy. Are they also in vegetables?
Yes, all vegetables of all types have some sort of insect parts with them, so you're almost guaranteed to have insects.
Oh, that gives me a reason never to eat veggies ever again. So why do people eat insects, including you?
Well, insects are very nutritious. They're very high in both protein and fat. And in many parts in the world, for example, Thailand and places like that, insects eat people's crops, and therefore there's a lot of insects there. So people collect the insects because they have no crops to eat, and they eat the insects.
Do you like eating insects?
Well, it depends upon the bug. The mealybug actually tastes a little bit, they're juicy. So these ones are juicy and they have a little bit of fat in them. Whereas the grasshoppers are a little bit on the crunchy side. So if you want something crunchy, more like a potato chip, then of course they would be the best.
What's your favorite bug?
To tell you the truth, probably my most favorite bug was probably the strangest bug was the scorpion.
A scorpion? Aren't they dangerous?
Well, they're dangerous until you cook them. Once you boil them at that high temperature, the venom that's in them that can harm you is actually destroyed.
Can we try some?
Well, I don't have any scorpions right at this moment, but we probably can cook you up some of the insects and let you try them.
Okay, sure.
Come with me. Sydney, I'd like you to meet Chef Carlos.
Nice to meet you.
He's one of the best chefs here at the University of Guelph, and he's going to help you cook up some insects.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'll leave you to it.
Thank you. What do we start with?
First, we're going to do the worms first.
Okay. So just pour in a few. Oh my gosh!
Some crickets.
Oh boy.
That's good. We're going to put some mushroom now.
Okay.
Some bok choy.
Okay.
You can put some noodles.
All of these noodles, okay, they're gonna go in. Noodles going in. Oh, that smells amazing. Wow, I never thought I'd be saying something like that about bugs.
Yes, yes.
All right, let me get a little bug in there too.
There you go.
Oh, noodles are falling off. I'm gonna try one of these mealworms too, actually. That was amazing.
Anytime you like it, I make more for you.
Okay, so eating bugs was a good experience, but I've got to admit, I was happy when it was time for dessert. Chocolate! Then Dr. Marconi told me there were bugs in that too. Oh, well, what if I just wanted to eat about half of it?
Well, even if you ate about that amount, there's about 30 insect parts there.
30 insect parts? What if I just ate one little stick?
About 15 of them there.
What if I only had one little block?
About 2 or 3 insect parts.
Oh, so it seems that even if we don't think we're eating bugs, we are eating them. They're in a lot of food we eat every day. That's what I found out, Harrison.
Thanks, Sydney. That gives me an idea for some street smarts. So here I am at Kells Elementary, and I've set up a little experiment inside this classroom, which these kids have bravely volunteered to try. Are you sure you guys don't mind eating all these marvelous treats?
Yes.
Okay, well, dig in. They don't know it yet, but there are insects inside these foods. Is it good?
Yeah.
Yep. So would it surprise you if I told you that you just ate a bug? Well, sort of. Red dye is sometimes made by crushing eggs of a cochineal beetle.
What?
Does that gross you out or what?
Yes.
But don't worry, it's perfectly safe.
Okay.
I think this is my favorite science project in the world.
No?
The flat Earth corner!
I like to spray the bugs, the aphids and the slugs, the spiders, caterpillars, flies and worms. I spray the bugs upon my plants, the bees, the butterflies, the ants. If I only spray enough, my flowers will bloom.
Not long ago, like in our parents' lifetime, people thought that the only good bug was a dead bug. They sprayed poisons all around their gardens. But nowadays, we know that many insects do a lot of good things.
Pollinate, makes your flowers bloom real great. Vegetables and fruits and trees need pollination from the bees. Yeah, vegetables and fruits and trees need pollination from the bees. Why do bees live?
They probably wonder the same thing about us, Tamara. But seriously, let's find out why bees live with...
My Great Challenge!
Today's great challenge is between Team Butterfly and Team Bee. You'll be Team Butterfly, and you'll be Team Bee. The bees are depending on you to represent them. Don't sting me, okay?
Don't worry.
See that yellow stuff in the middle of the flower?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pollen. When bees and butterflies land on a flower to drink nectar, which is like the best juice in the whole world if you're a bug, the pollen gets all over them. Then, when they visit the next flower, some of that pollen rubs off. The pollen is how a flowering plant can make new little plants. You're gonna show us why bees live. You already have your special pollinator vests on, and these are your pollen balls. When I say go, you have 20 seconds to jump in and get as many of the pollen balls as you can to stick to you without using your hands. Got that?
Yeah.
Then, when I say time's up, you have to come over here and you have to shake or rub off as many pollen balls as you can into these flowers. This one's Team Butterflies and that one is Team Bees. But remember, you can't use your hands. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go get your pollen! Time's up. Remember, this one's Team Butterflies and that one's Team Bees. Team Butterfly slips and Team Bee gets ahead. Team Butterfly is trying to catch up. Time's almost up. Okay, stop. Now come over here. Let's see. Team Butterfly has 20 pollen balls. And let's see. Team B has 27. Team B wins. So there you have it. Bees live so that they can pollinate flowers, make us honey, and enjoy the sweet life. Uh-oh. Do try this at home. Oh, if you're feeling left out, I also have a challenge for you. Look for something that's made from bugs in your home. Cobwebs don't count. Here is a hint. Silkworms make silk. So maybe a bug made the silk for your cushion or the ribbon in your hair. And a bee made the wax for beeswax candles. And honey. And even the honey in cough drops. And you remember that cochineal dye that makes candy red? It's also used for all kinds of things.
Do you have one of these at home? Or does your mom use this? You can tell that she's putting bugs on her lips. Who knew bugs were so useful? So let's see, Rim. Did I ever answer your original question?
Are mosquitoes good for anything, or are they just annoying?
The big answer is both. True, mosquitoes bite me and annoy me, but they're an important part of the food chain. For example, trout love to eat mosquitoes. Good going, trout. I don't have to like them all, but we need them. Bugs are important to our planet. Hey, I was saying nice things about you. So that's my show. Keep sending in questions so I can find stuff out for you. Aha, I know what I need. A trout. Who's scared now, Mr. Mosquito Man? Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where I search for your answers, no matter how shocking they are. And you might be wondering why I'm walking on this red carpet. Well, it's not like I was nominated for an award or anything, but if you wanted to nominate me, that would be totally awesome. Actually, the reason I'm walking around on this carpet is because I'm trying to answer a question about a mysterious form of energy. So if my calculations are correct and I've shuffled just enough... Ouch! That was more than I expected. Must have been the shoes. Anyway, let's start off with a question. Sorry, I forgot to turn the monitor on. That's better. It's from Lucia.
Why does my hair stick to my chin?
The short answer is, it's caused by a powerful force of nature. And today, I'll find out what that powerful force is and how to use it to make the kids of today superheroes. So now I have to find out why your hair sticks to your chair. It's probably something sticky. I guess the mysterious force isn't peanut butter. This calls for an investigation and another question. This one's from Steven.
Why do we need electricity? If cavemen didn't, then they survived.
Here's an animated clip I made that should shed some light on your question.
True, cavemen didn't have electricity, but they did have another form of energy, fire, which back then wasn't easy to make. They could use it to cook and dry their clothes, or even as a light to read by. And for millions of years, fire served as a cheap substitute for family entertainment. Oh no, Krog's favorite show, preempted by Weather Network.
Staying warm, cooking food, and entertaining ourselves are just some of the things that we use electricity for. Now here's a question.
Why do so many things run on electricity?
From the world of physics, please welcome my special guest, Mark Nantel!
Hi.
Hi.
Ah, the mysterious force.
So why do so many things run on electricity?
Well, I mean, for very different reasons. In the case of light, it's just cleaner and it's more efficient and it's safer. In the case of a drill, a hand drill, you can put it in a battery and go anywhere you want. In the case of the watch, well, you know, you don't want to have to wind your watch all the time, and sometimes you forget.
It's a pain.
It's a pain. Well, the electric one works pretty much all the time for a long time. So that's why a lot of things work on electricity, essentially. And you know, Harrison, this makes light, right? It makes a lot of light and it's great, but it's not very efficient.
Yeah.
Now, this little guy is very efficient. It doesn't take hardly any electricity to light up.
Cool. Let me find a battery.
Don't worry about it. I have everything we need in this lemon. Yeah, I'll show you. We'll make a battery with lemon.
Okay.
The lemon juice can be what's called an electrolyte. An electrolyte is something that is used in batteries to carry electricity from one side of the battery to the other side of the battery. So you take a lemon, you make a little slit in it. In the slit, you put a penny. And then you put a nail on the other side. Well, what you have here is essentially a little mini battery. Now, if you want to be clever, you make several of these guys, and then you can connect them in a row. So yeah, you take one side to the penny, the other side of the alligator clip goes to the nail.
Okay.
And you continue like that for a while, and the more lemons you put, the more power you get. So let's try to make it like this with a 4-lemon battery. Let's see if it works. It works! Ta-da!
So now there's a better saying. When life hands you lemons, don't make lemonade, make a battery. Now here's a question from Joshua.
How do we make electricity?
How do we make electricity? Well, Joshua, I think we already answered your question. There's a huge pile of lemons somewhere, the size of a mountain, along with some pennies and nails, right?
Well, not exactly. There are other ways to make electricity. Typically, you send something through a propeller of some kind. As it goes through, it gives electricity, and the electricity, in this case, can power the little light bulb, right? It could be wind. Sometimes you can put water and have it go down through a bunch of turbines. This is a fancy word for propellers. And then the propellers are connected to a generator, and at the end comes out electricity. Sometimes when you don't have water and you don't have wind, you may want to generate your own by boiling water and making steam, like really high pressure. Yep. And then you pass that through your propeller. And so, how do you make the steam? You can use nuclear power, or you can decide to burn fossil fuels like coal or petroleum or natural gas. But another way you can do power that doesn't involve steam or nuclear power or anything are some maybe more sustainable ways, using what the Earth already gives you. Something like geothermal. So the Earth is hotter inside the Earth.
Yeah.
So if you dig a hole in the Earth, it's hotter than at the top. So you can actually get some of the heat that's there in order to help you generate electricity. But also you can use the tides. So if you go at high tides, you make sure there's water somewhere, and when tide becomes lower, all the water comes back down to go to the sea, and that's when you make it go through propellers again and turbines.
So no matter how you make the turbine turn, it generates electricity.
And the other way you could do it is using solar panels. So the sun is always there, it's shining on the Earth anyway, it's wasting a lot of energy. Let's imagine this is the sun, right?
Okay.
All right, well, just imagine. And we light this up. Watch it. Yay! There's your car. So we generated electricity that powered the little car just from the solar panel that's on its back.
No turbine needed. So until we're using things that don't create pollution, how do we cut down on it?
You could use less electricity. That's the best way. So if you have lights on in the house that you don't need to have on, turn it off. You can still leave the TV on if you're watching this show, though.
Yeah. Now here's a question from Kirsten.
How does electricity travel through wires?
Imagine that a wire is this tube. Just like those marbles slide from one end of the tube to the other, when you turn a switch, all of a sudden, the electricity goes to where it's needed. If you turn off the switch, it stops. Turn on the switch, it goes.
So what are the marbles supposed to be?
Well, they're kind of an analogy to electrons.
Okay.
Electrons are little bits, the smallest bits of electricity you can find.
Cool. That was very illuminating. Thanks for being on my show, Mark.
No problem, my pleasure.
Speaking of moving electricity down a wire, it's time for... My Great Challenge! So Shoshana and Olivia, take your positions and get ready to compete. Woo! In real life, we have to move electricity long distances from where we make it to where we use it. So today, my great challenge is about moving electricity from one place to another. So you have to get the power from the batteries all the way up to the caveman who's holding the light bulbs, and the first one of you to get it all the way up to the caveman will be the winner. And here's the tricky part. You have to use these wires and other stuff. But none of it is long enough to run from our batteries to our caveman's light. So you have to figure out what you can connect to the wires to carry current all the way between these streetlights and our cavemen. Here's a hint. Some of our materials are called conductors, meaning that electrons can flow through them. Others are called insulators, meaning that electrons can't flow through them. When I touch these wires together, a buzzer will go off, and that's your signal to start. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a worm on this one.
Olivia starts with the toy worm. It's made out of rubber, so the light won't go on. Rubber does not conduct electricity. It's an insulator. Shoshana tries out the steel wool. Will it work?
Yes, I got one.
Yes! Metal is a great conductor of electricity. Electrons easily move through it. And now Olivia is doing the same. Shoshana is trying out the light stick. Uh-oh. It may light up inside, but the outside is plastic, another insulator. Olivia doesn't seem to be using anything plastic anymore. That metal wire works.
Stay.
Yep, that knitting needle is also metal. Shoshana's catching up. They're tied now. They're both down to their last light, and Olivia's putting the pedal to the metal with aluminum foil. Oh, the caveman's torch is lit up. We have a winner. Olivia, congratulations.
Congratulations! Street smarts!
So, what would you do if there was no electricity?
Well, I would probably scream and run and cry.
I will use like a lemon and dime and penny to light the little light.
I'd play the drums.
Yeah, I like this guy.
I just practiced my dancing.
To be honest with you, I don't really care if there's electricity or not.
I would just use a candle and just live my life. I do like Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison did, learn on how to do it, or I just use my dog to tug me to school on my scooter.
I'll scream and die.
No electricity? My show wouldn't exist. That means you guys wouldn't be able to see me.
How come electric eels don't electrocute themselves?
Yeah, that's weird. How come electric eels don't electrocute themselves? Now that is mysterious. I've never thought of that before. An animal that makes electricity shocks other things but doesn't shock itself with electricity that it makes inside of its own body? That's shocking! You're gonna make my head explode! To find out more about electric eels, wow, I met up with Nicole Can at the aquarium. An eel? That's not creepy enough. It has to be an electric eel. So, how do these things work anyway? Do you have to plug them in?
No, not at all. These electric eels can be found in the muddy waters of South America, and they generate electricity to stun their prey and to scare their predators, the things that want to eat them.
Okay, let me get out of here. Ugh, why would you want to eat an electric eel anyway? And how do they make electricity?
Well, on the back of their tail here, they actually have very specialized cells called electrocytes. And when they all fire at once, that's what creates the electric charge.
Okay, so to answer Jamie's question, how come they don't electrocute themselves?
The truth is, nobody knows. There's a couple of theories out there. Some people think that maybe they're immune to electricity, or maybe they just have all of their vital organs insulated from that charge.
Are they the only animals that make electricity? No, don't tell me sharks make electricity too. They're already dangerous enough with their teeth.
Okay, well, they don't actually make electricity, but they can detect it. They have special cells underneath their snouts, and all those cells do is they detect bioelectricity. So that's the electricity that any living thing makes, whether it's a fish or a person.
Wait, did you just say a person?
Yep. Dun, dun, dun.
No, my head really is going to explode. If my head's going to explode, maybe I should go see Dr. Joe Macker. He's a neuroscientist. This is just one of Dr. Macker's friends. So I heard that sharks can detect electrical activity in humans, and I was wondering if it's really true that we can make electricity inside of our own bodies.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And in fact, our brains can use as much electricity as a 60-watt light bulb. In fact, I can even show you that electrical activity in action in your brain right now. This is Harrison, our brain, and he's ready to be measured up.
Hi.
So Chantal's measuring your head and marking the spots where the wires that we're going to attach to your head are going to go. They need to be on exactly the right spots above the right part of your brain.
People always want to pick my brain, but this is ridiculous. Are these gonna suck my brain out?
No, but they will let us see the electrical activity of your brain.
Okay. My mom always thinks I'm wired. Now I'm actually wired.
That doesn't hurt, does it, Harrison?
No, it's just really cold though.
Oh, it helps you keep a cool head.
This is what a bowl of spaghetti must feel like. Okay.
Great, so now Chantal is going to start the electroencephalogram, or EEG.
So I'm ready.
I'm going to ask you to close your eyes now.
The first test is to check out what happens if I keep my eyes closed, and then open them.
For the next part, I'm going to place this light, which will flash at you, and you'll need to close your eyes for this. Okay, we're done.
That was really weird. It was like the lights, and I like kind of wanted to open my eyes while they were like going, but I knew I wasn't supposed to, so I didn't. And it was just really weird. It's time to see if I'm really full of energy. Yes! Check out my brainwaves. That's electricity.
So here, this is when you had your eyes closed and everything is nice and calm. And if I just move forward a little bit.
Wow.
Yep, right there where the yellow blob is, that's when you open your eyes and suddenly there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, I really lit up there.
You certainly did. Okay, and here we're showing you the results of the flashing light that you had. Each of these pink spikes represents the flashing light coming on and off. And as you can see, as soon as we start flashing that light at you, the activity in your brain changes completely.
Yeah, it was really big and wavy there, and then as soon as the light came on, it was really small.
Right, exactly.
So it's true, my brain does generate electricity. But what do you use this for?
Well, we can use this to help people with epilepsy. In epilepsy, certain parts of the brain are firing when they shouldn't be. And so we can see that with this machine. And now we can even implant a device called a pacemaker into their brain, which regulates the activity so it's back to the way it should be firing.
Wow, so electricity can actually correct people's problems.
When you know what you're doing with it, yes.
Well then, maybe you can answer this question from one of our viewers.
Why don't grown-ups let kids touch electricity?
That's a very good question. In part, it's because the amount of electricity flowing within our brains is thousands of times less than what's in the wall. And also, when it's flowing from one part of our body to another, that's safe. It's dangerous when electricity comes out from outside our body and goes through us.
Yeah, that's an electric shock.
Exactly.
So remember, kids, don't play around with electricity that comes out of wall sockets, or you'll get socked with shocks. The Flat Earth Corner! In the 16th century, we've made huge medical advances. That's why we know that if you're suffering from certain ailments, like gout, there's a simple cure. Just stick your feet in a tub of electric eels. Whoa! What a wonderful treatment! The electric shocks hurt so much I can't even think about my gout! A few hundred years ago, doctors used to think if you suffered from headaches or an illness called gout, like Henry VIII, King of England, that you could be cured by sticking your foot into a tub of electric eels. Nowadays, we know that electric eels can't cure anything, except maybe boredom. I guess that's why Dr. Macker didn't have any in his lab. But speaking of Dr. Macker and his lab, it's time for... Uh-oh. Do try this at home. So, as I found out from Dr. Macker, your heartbeat and many other things inside of your body have electrical impulses. So to feel how that happens, place your fingers on your wrist like so. Can you feel that pulse? That's your heart pumping blood all around your body, which is controlled by tiny electrical signals. And more signals to help you keep your balance, all because of electrical impulses.
You've got electricity flowing through your whole body from cell to cell at awesome speed. You've got electricity when you're looking with your eyes, when you're smelling with your nose, when you're figuring some math, when you're wiggling your toes, when you're doing funky moves, or when you start to sneeze. You've got electricity. Yeah, you've got electricity flowing through your whole body from cell to cell at awesome speed. You've got electricity.
What's light night?
What an electrifying question. I checked, and it's a lot like rubbing a balloon against the wall, except with way more electricity.
During a storm, water droplets and clouds rub together, causing friction. This friction causes electrons, which have a negative charge, to build up inside the clouds. The Earth is positively charged. In this case, opposites attract. Eventually, the attraction is too strong. And zap! There's your lightning. It's what's called static electricity. It's exactly what happens when I rub my feet on a carpet. The friction causes the negatively charged electrons to build up in my body. The electrons have nowhere to go until I put my finger close to the positively charged chair. Then bam! I get a shock, which is like a mini bolt of lightning. Which leads me back to the original question from Lasaya.
Why does my hair stick to my chair?
Big answer, Lasaya, is... the electrons! It's like a tiny version of lightning. When your hair rubs against your chair, it's picking up electrons from it.
It's the same when I'm rubbing this balloon against my sweater. This creates negative and positive charges to build up. And that force causes my balloon to stick to my sweater.
Cool, my own electric eel balloon animal. I think he likes me. Let's get this party started.
How about some pointy teeth?
Well, I guess that's goodbye to Mr. Eel. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. So sad. Let the force be with you. I'm really excited to do my show today, and not just because Mr. Whiskers decided to join me. He's super excited too. I'm excited because today we're answering your questions about communication, and not just this kind. Or that kind, but all kinds. So let's take a look at question number 1.
It's from Leela.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
What do you think, Mr. Whiskers? He'll get back to you on that. In the meantime, I think I have the answer to your question. I went over to my friend's farm last week and filmed the horses and the pigs.
Okay, there are the horses and there are the pigs. And it doesn't look like there's any communicating going on between them. Wait a minute. The horse just looked over at the pigs. I'm not sure.
But I'm not giving up yet. Sometimes if you can't find the answer to a question, it's better to ask more questions.
So, Leela,
by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question.
Speaking of questions, here's another one.
Why do dogs go woof woof?
Now, I don't have a dog, mostly because Mr. Whiskers here is afraid of them. But I do have an answer to your question, Hanifa, and it's pretty cool. So this is my cousin's dog, Clyde. Mr. Whiskers doesn't like him at all.
I found out that when dogs bark, they're not just making noise, they're actually communicating. That means this dog is saying something right now. Do you know what it is? Maybe Ralph or Rolf? Roast, maybe. Is it possible that he's asking for a roast?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Whiskers. Here, you can leave. Here's the cool thing. Some scientists in Hungary have figured out that when dogs bark, they're telling us how they feel. And there are different barks for different feelings, like this is the play bark.
That's the bark a dog makes when he's playing fun doggy games, like tug of war or wrestling. Okay, now this is the stranger bark. That's the bark a dog makes when there's a stranger at the door. And here's another kind of dog doing the stranger bark.
There are so many different breeds of dogs, but they all have the same way of communicating with us.
Now, if you knew what the play bark and the stranger bark meant before I told you, you're not alone. People and dogs have a special relationship, and scientists have discovered that people can tell the difference between dog barks, even people without dogs.
How? Adaptation.
Dogs have been our companions for thousands of years. And scientists think their different barks changed over time to sound a lot alike, at least in tone, so that they can communicate with us. These dogs might look different, but they seem to be saying the same thing.
So if dogs bark to communicate with us, let's find out how well you understand them.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Okay, I'm going to play 3 different types of barks for you. The first one is the food bark. That's what a dog barks like when he's hungry. Next is the alone bark. The alone bark is when a dog is tied to a tree and away from his owner. Last is the fight bark, which is when a dog is angry and or vicious. Now we have the 3 barks up here, and you have to guess which one I'm playing. And I'm not going to play them in order. Or am I? Okay, first one. Do you think that dog is hungry, feeling alone, or ready to fight? Ready for the answer? I have a drum roll. Hang on. It'll be easier if I just do it myself. And the answer is alone. Congratulations if you got it right. If not, you still have 2 more chances. Okay, so I'm gonna play the last 2 barks one after another. Which one's food? Which one's fight? And the answer is food, then fight. If you got all 3 right, then congratulations. You're like an official dog whisperer. But if you didn't, don't worry about it. I'm sure dogs don't understand what you're saying either. How could they? I mean, we have so many words, and they only have 1. Woof. But I guess it's not just what you say, but how you say it. For example, if I say drum solo, I'm asking a question. But if I say drum solo, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Same words, but when I change the tone, it changes the meaning. It's a part of how we communicate too, and how dogs communicate, even though they don't use words. Hey, and that's the doorbell communicating with me. It's telling me my guest is here, but this time he's 5 inches tall and he's gonna answer a question about communication. This one's from Taya. Coming!
Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
So I'm here with Eliza and Aaron and their macaw, Coco. So why do parrots copy us when we talk? Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
They are able to mimic sound. Birds in the wild will mimic other songs, and parrots, when they live with us, try and mimic the sounds in their environment. So some birds will mimic sounds that they hear, like the telephone or trucks backing up in the alleyway. Many parrots will try and mimic human speech because they live with human beings.
I've heard of parrots that imitate ringtones on phones and doorbells and stuff. Does Coco do that at all, or?
He doesn't do that. His species doesn't particularly copy those types of sounds, but there are other species of parrots, for example, African greys or other birds that like those very high-pitched sounds.
Parrots live in groups, and they use sound to communicate with each other. But if there are no other parrots around for a parrot to talk to, then it will imitate whatever is nearby, like people.
So can Coco say any words at all, or?
Coco has a vocabulary. He speaks in English and in French. Aaron, do you want to try and get him to say something?
Allô, Coco. Allô. Allô, Coco. So, does Coco really know what he's saying?
Well, Coco will answer you if you ask him a specific question in a specific circumstance. So, for example, if I'm in one room of the house and I call Aaron in another room of the house, he'll tell me to stop yelling because he doesn't like it when you raise your voice. If he wants to go to bed, he'll say, I want to go in my cage. And sometimes he'll say things like, if you ask him if he wants to eat something in particular that he really does want to eat, he'll say, yes, I do. And so they will respond and mimic and answer sometimes what you ask them with a set answer that they already know will give a desired result. But you never know exactly what he's going to say, and he'll say things only when he wants to.
So what's an example of a circumstance where Coco will talk?
Well, Coco likes going into drawers, and sometimes if he's in the right mood and he feels like going into one, he'll yell out, "It's a drawer," several times.
In a really loud voice.
In a very loud voice.
It's a drawer.
He's like, yeah, that's me. I say it's a drawer. Okay, well, I have a drawer right over here, so we can try it out then, right?
Okay, let's try it. Oh, look. Want to go in the drawer?
It's a drawer.
Come on, Coco.
I think I heard him. He said it's a drawer. Thank you for being on my show, and thank you, Coco. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now here's a question from Omarion.
Why do some people speak in other languages?
Well, Omarion, I have no idea. So why don't we start out by finding out how many languages are there? Let's see, there's English, French, Spanish, German, Danish, Greek, Chinese, Lebanese, Croatian, Japanese, Egyptian, Italian, Ojibwe, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Korean, Romanian, Yiddish, Dutch. Ah!
Yay! You're gonna make my head explode!
It looks like there are around 6,900 languages being used on Earth right now. 6,900? That's more languages than there are countries in the world. Where did all these languages come from?
A long time ago, very far away, prehistoric people might have talked the same. They went their separate ways, and the words they spoke started to change. So mata, mater, madre, mir, all mean mother, that lady who cares. Pater, pater, Peter, padre, all mean father, no matter what you say. People walk their walk, and they talk their talk. That's why there's so many languages spoken in this world today.
Check out this language question
from Ashton.
What was the first language on Earth?
So it turns out finding the answer was pretty easy. Scientists think the first language on Earth was some sort of basic sign language. This is how I imagine it.
Apparently, back then, people could only kind of grunt. Which isn't really a great way to communicate. So they probably pointed and made up signs for things they couldn't talk about.
Now it's time for...
My Great Challenge!
Hello, contestants. Are you ready for My Great Challenge?
Yeah!
Okay, you guys are gonna be team number 1 and you're team number 2. Today, the challenge is to communicate like early humans without any talking, which is very similar to charades. So team number 2, please leave the room. Team number 1, get ready to play. So Michael, here's the sentence that you will have to act out.
The sentence I gave Michael says, your socks are on fire.
Got it? So Fabiana, you have 2 minutes to guess what he is acting out. Go.
Your feet are on fire?
You're very close. Guess, guess.
Your feet are burning?
Keep guessing, come on.
Your socks are on fire.
That's right, you got it. Yeah. Congratulations. You almost got it right away. You were really close. How did you know that it was fire?
Because when he lifted up his pants, like up until here, I saw him leaving his socks, so I just knew it like that.
Why do you think it would be hard if there was no language back then, if you had to act everything out like you just did?
Well, because it would take a long time to guess what I was doing.
Do you think you'd get good at it eventually?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think you did?
Good.
Good?
Great.
Great. Okay, Talia, here's the line that you'll be acting out.
Team number 2 has the same sentence. The sentence is, your socks are on fire.
Got it? Okay, and you'll be guessing what she's acting out. Are you ready? Okay, go.
I don't know what she's doing though. Okay, you're putting on a sock. You're
Keep acting it out.
taking off your sock. You're washing your sock.
Getting closer.
You're drying your sock. It's hot.
Getting very close.
It's on fire.
Yeah, so
Her sock's on fire.
you got it. Awesome. So, Talia, what did you think was the hardest thing about acting it out?
The fire part?
Why did you think the fire part was the hardest?
There's not a lot of fire, like, stuff.
So, and what was the easiest part?
The sock.
The sock? Why was the sock so easy to act out?
You just put a sock on your foot.
Or pretend to, yeah?
Yeah.
So, Jessica, what was the hardest part of trying to guess what Talia was acting out?
Like she said, the fire part, because there wasn't like much movements that she did for the fire, so it was kind of hard to guess.
How did you finally know that it was fire that she was acting out?
Because she like kind of like blew in her hands like it was hot, or like after she put her sock on, she like kind of like said it was like on fire, and she like kind of backed up and like yeah.
Okay, the winner is team number 1. Yeah! You guys did it twice as fast as team number 2. Okay. Ancient communication is way too difficult. What I was trying to say is, thanks for playing my great challenge. Congratulations. That was awesome. Speaking of speaking with your hands,
There are jobs where people use special signals to communicate. Here's how a sailor sends a message from his ship to another ship. How a baseball catcher sends a secret message to the pitcher. And people who are hearing impaired have figured out how to talk to each other with their hands. It's called sign language.
let's take another question.
This one's from Juliana.
Can you do sign language with animals?
I thought the answer to Juliana's
Question would be no, but you wouldn't believe what I found out.
And if you have a pet monkey, tell him to come watch this too. Since the 70s, scientists have been teaching chimpanzees some human-style sign language. And it turns out, they can learn a lot of words.
And over at the aquarium, they have trainers that know how to communicate with dolphins and whales. Let's check it out. So here I am with Nicole Can.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi, so can you tell me the different ways that fish and underwater mammals communicate?
Well, these belugas eat a lot of a fish called herring. And herring is a fish that has a very interesting way of communicating. They make distinct pulse-like sounds in their guts that are way too low for us to hear.
By their guts, you mean?
Yeah, I mean farting.
Gross. Well, I just communicated myself.
Oh, gross, Harrison.
But how do these guys communicate?
Well, beluga whales are capable of making a lot of different sounds. In fact, early Arctic explorers used to call them the canaries of the sea due to all of the different types of sounds they can make. And we know they use those sounds to communicate with each other, but we're not entirely sure how yet.
Nobody knows exactly what whales are saying to each other with their calls, but we do know some amazing things about them. It's believed that some whales can send their sounds to other whales halfway around the world. And humpback whales, like these ones, sing slightly different songs depending on where in the world they live. It's like each group has its own language.
So how do you communicate with dolphins?
You use sign language.
What do you mean by sign language?
It's a form of communication that we've come up with the dolphins. Everything we do with our hands means something different to them.
Okay, so can you show me a couple?
Sure. If you wanted to ask the dolphins to make noise or to vocalize, wiggle your fingers like you're conducting a choir. Perfect. And then if you wanted to ask them to swim really fast, what we call a speed swim, take your hand and go, go!
Go! Like that?
Yeah. That's perfect.
So I can make a dolphin swim fast now.
You could ask them to swim really fast.
Okay. And what about like something awesome, like a backflip?
A backflip, it's actually a really small hand signal. Just your 2 fingers up and down.
Just by saying that, it's telling them to do a backflip.
Yep.
That's crazy. What else? Can they like wave or anything?
Well, if you wave your hands at them, they'll wave back.
They're so smart.
They are very smart.
So how do you say goodbye?
Like this.
Okay. Goodbye. Bye. I gotta teach some of these to my goldfish. Bad news. Mr. Whiskers ate my goldfish. Just kidding. But here's another question. This one's from Laura.
Can animals talk to each other?
So here's how I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna show Mr. Whiskers here different animals saying stuff, and we'll see if he talks back. Hey, Mr. Whiskers. Anyway, I think it would be easier just to search and see animals communicating with each other. Animals communicating with each other. Aha! We have a hit!
In Yellowstone National Park, scientists found another example of how different animals can communicate with each other. Ravens have learned a very clever trick. When they spot elk, they fly off to alert the wolves. Then, they lead the hungry wolves toward the elk. When the wolves have moved in for the kill and had their fill, the ravens swoop in and snack on the leftovers. That also answers the first question we started off with. Here it is again.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
And the big answer is... maybe!
I found out that horses can interpret the body language of other creatures, and pigs are supposed to be way more clever than dogs. So if they really needed to, a horse and a pig might develop some kind of communication, like the ravens and wolves at Yellowstone. But so far, they don't seem to have much use for each other.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that one. Modern science can rest a little easier tonight. Thanks for sending in all your questions and for watching Finding Stuff Out. Mr. Whiskers, cue!